Hey guys, I am so sorry. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. I literally lost the recording there for a second and I thought I was going to have to cancel or whatever. And then I thought, okay, where else do I have it? Like, I was literally playing it or listening to it to make sure, there's only about 30 or 45 seconds that I have to cut out because it brings up private stuff about kids. So, well, it's stuff I just don't want to put on there. So, actually, this phone call, after listening to it back today, because I had never listened to it, I did get a hold of Jason, by the way, and ask for if he was okay with this, just to make sure. But yeah, I thought I freaking lost it there for a second. Hold on, let me. There that is. Okay. So I asked Jason if it was okay to play it, and he's okay with it. So most of it, though, is really Fred and me speaking, honestly. I think he was just listening because that's what he does. He's a PI and he's supposed to get information. However, he is not allowed. It's really just like a conversation because he's not licensed in Tennessee like he states in this call. But I thought it would be interesting to listen back what we were talking about. I freaking talk too much in it, but oh well, let's see. But we need to put a little banner about it being opinion only. Let me change this because we talk about certain things. It's a private conversation, so we're talking about people that we believe are involved. At the time, certain opinions have changed a little bit, especially when it comes to, I guess, the parents' involvement. I've had a huge shift in my belief there. I kind of wonder if it could have been some kind of revenge, when it came to Summer Wells missing. And it's hard for me to think neither of the parents know or have an idea of what happened to Summer Wells, but I do think it's possible that they weren't involved at the time, as far as with her going missing. But I don't know, guys. In this clip, Jason states that he doesn't believe the parents are involved and everything. I think everybody knows that was his belief. And at the time we disagreed there, but we're more open to the idea that they're not involved now than we were before. So I do want to state that. Obviously our belief about Andy Bernard comes up in this, and that is just an opinion and not fact, So I was going to put a little bit of banner as this is I have entertainment purposes only, but let's change that to And also, there is other people's names that come up that have already came up before. Yeah, I panicked there for 15 minutes. I really thought I was going to have to cancel because I couldn't find it. But I was like, well, shit, I guess it's not meant to be. Yeah, I'll be stopping it in between. We'll probably just upload this like by itself after the live. You know what I mean? We're going to talk a little bit about some things. It's not going to be just played completely through. There is I don't know how to, I wish I could. Oh, okay, I see where I can fast forward 10 seconds at a time. Okay, because there is one part that I kind of want to fast forward through that comes when we talk about underage kids. But it is interesting to hear what we're talking to Jason about. I will just say, yeah, this is mainly, like I said, me and Fred talking honestly, and Jason just really listening. At the time, remember he had that post, or he had put out a post about somebody had came to him with some information that he had turned in, if you remember that. We talk about that in this call. He doesn't go into too many specifics at all, nothing actually, and I didn't ask him because I wasn't going to try to ask for his information. But he claimed to, you remember at one time he had a post up that said something like, tell on your brother what your brother did, something like that, right? I speculated that it could be, I thought at the time, I really believed, was somebody like Marlena Crawford's ex. And, I mean, he doesn't say yes or yay or nay, but you'll hear, he talks a little bit about the Van Hill search and, because I wanted to know if his tip that he had, that he had turned in had anything to do with Van Hill, because it was interesting timing about, I don't know how many months it was, 6 months after he had made a post about, something about brothers, tell on your brother and what you know, or whatever, when it came to Summer Wells. It was 6 months after or something, there was a search over on Van Hill Road. And then, of course, the Hill name becomes, really talked about there for a while with, Paul Hill and stuff. And Randy and Frankie. Or Frank, I'm sorry. So, yeah. I get nervous and I talk a lot, guys. So I kind of talk a lot in this clip. I trust and believe I want to tell myself to shut up many times when I'm listening to this. So I imagine you will too. Oh, man. I don't know. He listened to us talk for 2 hours almost. I feel kind of bad. Yeah, we talk about that in this call, Cray lady, about how we just want this nightmare to be over. I am, there is another conversation I had with somebody that, I don't know, I'm thinking about, maybe I'll just do part of it because I don't know, I'm conflicted really bad about it, and that is Chad Arnold's mother. I spoke to her a few years ago, and one thing that she really did want to be known is that, her son Jason Jason was killed, and she really wanted help. She wanted more exposure and people going over that case, and I have talked about that before on here. But yeah, I'm conflicted on that because I don't know that it would be beneficial, and she's an older lady and stuff. And I just don't want to bring any problems to her, so. But, really, there's nothing really specific about Chad in it. It's just more so we talk about Jason's passing, and she talks about the corruption surrounding his death and stuff. Fred spoke about that before and how suspicious Jason's passing was and all that. Anyways, I don't know, maybe too I'll talk to Chris McDonough, see about maybe possibly releasing our call with Chris here at a soon later date. But I want to make sure it's okay, first, and I want to listen back to it too and see what. And it was very long conversation with Chris McDonough, very long, almost 4 hours. But that's been some months now, so it might be okay to release. I don't know. So, anyways, I guess this is almost a 2-hour call, but it's mostly me and Fred blabbing. Seriously, I'm just going to warn you. It really is. It's mostly me and Fred blabbing. Me, mostly. But you can hear Fred talking privately, too. We thought at the time, we didn't know that Jason couldn't practice in Tennessee cases, And so I was really excited to talk to him at the time because I know that he's worked some high-profile cases, And I was really nervous speaking to him, and I was really excited because I thought, wow, this could be a really great opportunity for Summer Wells, right? But unfortunately, he is not licensed in Tennessee, and I didn't know that until this call. But it was still interesting talking to him. And, yeah, I thought we would play it. Brandon Hare. Is this guy still in law enforcement? I didn't see that video that I think it was D True Crime put out. Do you guys really think that would be related, though? He said he was on his website. Oh, that he's still in law enforcement? I think so, too, Cray Lady. I think so, too, and I really hope so. And I'm really also, I don't know, there's personal talk about certain, this has already been out there. I guess we might as well get to playing it because it's long.
This is Jason. Can I help you?
Hi, Jason. It's Fred and Adrian here. I go by my real name's Adrian. I go by Ziggy online.
You go by what?
I go by Ziggy online.
Ziggy online, okay.
Yeah, but Fred Hill's my husband. I met him while covering the case of Summer Wells.
Really?
Yeah, I went down to Tennessee and interviewed him in January of 2022. because like his name kept coming up, and like he was this big scary guy, and I was the only one that would go talk to him. And I interviewed him then and recorded him, and he was with somebody for 20 years. I was somebody with 10 years, but he was in the drug game still. Blah blah blah.
Right.
He gets clean. He gets busted for dealing, and he goes to jail in 2023, the summer of. While he's in there, they use him for the Summer Wells case, and I think even unbeknownst to him, they keep him 2 months extra to wait to go to Knoxville. We think that they purposely put him in the Knoxville halfway house because there was a certain vice lords there that had information on the Summer Wells case. Just so happened that he turned in. But anyways, sorry, that's kind of, we're jumping ahead of ourselves. I'm trying to give you a quick, this is a lot. We have a lot. He's right here, by the way. Say hi.
Hey.
Say hi, Fred. I talk a lot. I get nervous, and Fred can't hear, so I try to talk a lot for him. And you guys gotta remember, I know you guys hate that. People hate that, but we're on a private phone call, and I have heard, we've talked about Summer Wells so freaking much that I think most of the time, like I'm starting to realize that obviously my memory is not as good as it's worse than I thought and stuff, and I do repeat things wrong a lot, and it causes issues because people associate things I say as what Fred's saying. In this phone call, one of the things that comes up in this phone call that I find interesting, because we recently discussed it, was how Jenny from Gavel Geeks likes to say that, oh, Fred couldn't have saw a pool. Well, this pool situation comes up in this phone call, and Fred retells that story to Jensen and talks about what he was doing when he went up there and saw Summer Wells. He talks that whole story again, and there's nothing about a truck. He says he was getting gas, seeing if he could borrow a gallon of gas to get to town from Don. Nothing about a truck was mentioned. But anyways, it's just interesting, I think, that you guys should hear this, because even though it's a lot of me and Fred speaking, you hear him telling the stories over again. Wait, can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah, okay. You hear him telling the stories over again, and it's a private call. This is a PI who we thought it was going to be able to be beneficial as far as for Summer Wells. We didn't know he wasn't able to work on the case. Anyways, hopefully the dog will stop barking.
Hi, Fred.
So, Paul Hill's Fred's uncle. By the way, this is right after I think this is the end of last year, right after that whole search. Frankie Hill is Fred's cousin. I thought his name was Frankie. I didn't, we were under the impression he went by Frankie. Fred's father's brother, and obviously their sons, Randy and Paul. I don't know.
Randy and Frankie.
Randy and Frankie. But people are all of a sudden assuming that Fred had something to do with this tip, or that he knew something, or whatever, when we were actually completely, completely thrown off by it, really. Now, they are family, too, to Andy Bernard and Fred's sister, Karen, which we highly, highly, highly suspect. Andy Bernard is definitely has knowledge of what happened. Opinion only, guys. That is not fact. It's our opinion at that time. Also, you gotta remember, it's been just like 6 months, but Yeah, this is only opinion.
Fred saw him on the road. I don't know if you have any questions, like specifically. I don't know. Have you heard any? Because you didn't know that we were trying to get a hold of you.
No, I had no idea. I haven't heard. I mean, I'm not hard to find.
We text you, and it showed. Yeah, and it showed red, and I thought you were and we thought you were ignoring us, like, and didn't want to talk to us.
No, I had no idea. What did you send it text?
To the same number, and I said, "Hey, my name is Adrian Amos. Here, I'll screenshot it."
Yeah, what number did you? Is it 801-7?
Yeah, it's the same number. It's over the ones we just did. I mean,
Really?
yeah. And I'll send it to you. It was right after all this stuff happened when you first started. And
the first message I have from your number is, "Can you please help us clear up what's going on?"
yeah, I just sent you a screenshot of what I did send you in June of this year.
Yeah, we wanted to clear up about what we wanted him to help clear up was he had claimed it was his tip that had, something to do with this search, and people at the time were trying to say, Fred turned in a tip on Paul, on his own family, or Fred turned in something on Paul or something. Now, if he had something that was important to the case, he obviously is going to, but it just was not the truth.
Did I respond?
No.
My name is Adrian Amos. I used to be.
Well, I am still Ziggy. I don't know why I put used to. Sorry. Go ahead.
To the Mary Hill. I sent you a message on Facebook. If you could read when you get time, we might be able to help. We want answers and want help. Wish I would have known this in June.
Yeah. And we were told, and Cher, the one that was supposed to set up a polygraph for Fred and everything, who set us up, she claimed that she was in contact with you and would relay the message and stuff, and, people kept acting like you just didn't want to talk to us, so.
No, I had no idea.
And then we see the Hot Hill name come up, and then it's like, did he not want to talk to us because he thought, Fred might deter or throw something off? Fred recorded for law enforcement he was used the day of
15th, 16th, 17th.
15th, 16th, and 17th. And he saw Andy on the road. Did you want to tell him, I don't know, what information is relevant to you, though, so.
Right. Which, bear in mind, I'm not licensed in Tennessee, so I'm not investigating anything in Tennessee. I got a tip in June, and I forwarded it to TBI. That's what I did, and I talked about it, and next thing you know, people are turning to me and sending me their tips, and I just forward pretty much whatever I get, because there's really nothing I can do. I'm not working for Don Wells. He has his own PI. I'm not working for really anybody, although just like everybody, I'm fascinated by the case because, I'm human too. I have just as much intrigue by the mystery as anyone else, because I also have a nonprofit, the Missing Coalition. So I do this, but I'm not assigned to do any of this in Tennessee.
We don't know I don't know if.
So I was really bummed when I heard that, because I was thinking that maybe, I don't know, it could have, our information, Fred's information mainly, could have helped more, and so it was kind of a bummer, but.
If there's any information that we could have that might line up with what you have, I don't know, because I don't know specifically what you're turning in, but we do know that after that tip came out, a certain person, I submitted a tip, me and Fred submitted a tip yesterday, because after all this came out and stuff, a certain person contacted Fred that hadn't contacted him in 4.5 years. Fred is now up in here in Indiana with me. thankfully away from that area, so he's able to talk a little bit more freely, even though we're always getting people by here taking pictures of us, videoing us. Like, it's bad. Huh?
See, I said, that's so weird. And, I've heard that name come up time and time again, watching YouTube. I just kind of dismiss it because it doesn't seem relevant. It's like, why would Fred Hill have anything to do with this? You got the camp that blames Candace and Don for something, and that doesn't really make sense to me either. It's like, whatever happened, it was an apparent abduction in my assessment. And then
we're going to probably disagree with you about Candace and Don, because law enforcement had Fred record Candace and Don, and they were very adamant that they wanted to go ahead and tell them like what they were thinking at the time.
But they just thought that Don had owed somebody some money.
Right, yeah,
that's the main thing they wanted me to hit on Don with, was who he had owed the money to and stuff, mostly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because basically what that's insinuating is not necessarily that they sold.
There could have been revenge. Now, there could have been revenge.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they owed a sizable amount of money, that maybe they would, kill one of their children over. That
No, they didn't kill her. No.
Well, that's that's a little drastic. But
no, they're saying sell her, put her in a trafficking. They already knew that Don had tried to sell his son before. The day of, they already knew that Don had tried to sell his son in Utah. Right at that.
Yeah. So it already had to be in some kind of database for them to know that.
This is all like opinion. We're not going to sit here and state this, even though this is Fred's experience. These are strong accusations, and I'm just stating this opinion for, and Fred's, like we talk about, just because Andy was on the road doesn't mean that he had anything to do with Summer Wells, is also true. And that comes up in here as well. Sorry, I'm like kind of cold. I need to get me a fleece but yeah, I'm getting kind of cold. So yeah, just know this is a conversation, and just also, I don't know, I've kind of changed my opinion, especially about the parents. I'm a lot more flexible there. I do believe whatever activities the parents had going on, definitely, like, it trickled down, like, you know what I mean? There probably was some, like, illegal activities going on that probably correlates, like, with Summer's disappearance, but is not, you know what I mean, direct. I don't know, that's more my opinion now, and it's still to believe that one of the parents don't know, like, have a really good idea what happened, but I'm trying to be more open-minded there, because I don't know. I'm going to keep going. We're going to be here forever.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, but...
So anyway, what do you think the purpose of the search was, last week then?
Well, now with everything being put together, we're thinking, okay, this is a timeline that he saw Andy on the road about 3:47 p.m., by the way. And I talked over him because Fred can't hear, but he will answer anything you have. Like,
who's Andy?
Andy Bernard.
He's the neighbor of Don Wells. He lived at 125, straight across the street from Don Wells.
And he's Fred's cousin, and he is Paul Hill's relation to Paul Hill, and all them. and Frankie as well. Like, and he used to be in business with Paul Hill as far as weed.
Okay.
Back in the day, but we don't know now. I mean, Paul supposedly changed his life around and stuff. What was that?
No, I'm just cleaning. I'm sorry.
Okay. Paul supposedly turned his life around in 2008, but this is something we can't put out on YouTube. But Paul and Fred don't have the best of relationships, and we don't want to put it out there because of family stuff, and they haven't really been in communication. Actually, Fred's dad passed away a few years ago. They asked Paul if he wanted to preach, and he declined, and that's the last time that Fred's talked to him. Before that, he saw him at a wagon train where him and his son tried to stab Fred because, and this was in the 20s, or when Fred was in his 2002, I mean, and they tried to stab Fred because they were under the impression that Fred stole weed of his. And ever since then, they haven't been have a good relationship. He found out who stole his weed, but, after that, how do you go back after that? So they haven't really been cool since. But that was before he supposedly changed his life around and stuff. So yesterday, on that day, on the 15th, Fred passed somebody who was broken down with a motorcycle over at the end of Tim Shipley's driveway, which is Tim Shipley's brother.
If Fred was right here, I'd ask him more about the wagon train. Like, it was some kind of event or something. I don't know. I'm afraid to say what that was because I'll get it wrong. But maybe when he comes back in, he can explain this a little bit better. But yeah, we didn't talk about that because, we did. It came up, but, you don't know what is okay to put out there and what's not. Like, you don't want to air everybody's, stuff. You know what I mean? But kind of, now at this point, at this time, Frank hadn't came to YouTube and stuff. So that's why, now it's a little bit different because we're some months ahead and some things have already came out, so yeah, now it's okay. I feel like it's not as bad to release it. Yeah, it was some kind of event, like a wagon. I hear Fred coming in. We'll give it a second. You guys got to understand too, this was 30 years ago, so it was a long time ago. Where's the wagon train? Was that an event or something?
Wagon train?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where a bunch of people get together and rides horses. And they got wagons and stuff. It was on Labor Day weekend. We'd always have it at BD Castles, and it would start on Sunday or Friday evening and run till Sunday night, Monday morning usually. There'd be karaoke and food and more or less a big party.
Yeah, so it was a party and
see, when Paul and Randy showed up over there, I didn't even see them until we come back into where we had left out from at the main gathering. And that's when they rode up. Paul was on the right and Randy was on the left, and both of them had their knife out trying to cut me as they rode by. And that was the last time I seen them.
Yeah, that's a long, long time ago, though. And so, yeah, after something like that, things are going to be weird, even though he found out who, was responsible for that and who had stolen his crop, we'll just say. But since that happened, it kind of made things, awkward or whatever. So, yeah, they haven't really had a relationship, Paul and Fred, since...
the reason he thought I had something to do with it, because one day he actually found out that Stody worked for him, and me and him was together one day, and he went and stopped by there because Paul owed him some money for work he had done. And evidently he had done stole that stuff earlier that day, because he...
Paul is a different person, supposedly. I don't know, though. But, it just wasn't something for YouTube at the time.
Who's came up a lot in this case. Tim Shipley contacted Fred last night,
and this would be something that I would be covering too, and not putting completely out there like this. However, Ryan from Ryan Finds Truth has already put out this, crazy stuff from Bill Shipley. So now that he's put himself and inserted himself in this community, I don't see the harm here. And plus, also, the same woman we're talking about now is also in all these freaking chats and all these groups, too.
And the same one that put out the picture the other day, supposedly Don, just driving by, going home, and trying to say he was trying to run over people.
Yeah, so that's why I'm allowing this information to be out there. And the same one that's trying to claim that the whole incident, that the motorcycle broke down, trying to say it happened on the 13th instead of the 15th. And all we care about is turning in the freaking footage, whatever day she wants to say it happened.
Because where I picked up that motorcycle is the same spot in the road where she's got the picture of Don's truck just passing by her house.
Yeah, so at this time, back then, well, no, I don't know. Actually, I did put out the conversation because she went after she started acting real weird. And I knew that because of that, of her reaching out and sending Fred those weird messages, I knew one of those other creators had to have sent her over and tried to, I knew it was some fuck shit. I knew it.
A couple nights ago, and hasn't contacted Fred at all this whole time. Fred has
this was me just talking. I haven't been playing the call. I was just talking about. Me and Fred were just talking. I had it paused. This is a conversation we had several months ago. He's not on panel or anything. And like I said at the beginning, most of this call is me and Fred.
Being broke down, and that it was at the end of Tim Shipley's driveway.
That was the point for us to give him the information. He's the PI. We're trying to give him the information. We thought that he was able to work the Summer Wells case. We didn't know at the time that he wasn't licensed in Tennessee. You know what I mean?
This whole time. And she decided to contact it 2 days ago and pretend like she didn't know about it. Like, what is he talking about? Then she goes and says, that was the 13th. Same thing Andy's doing. And Fred's like, well, did you turn in surveillance? And she goes, I told law enforcement, I talked to law enforcement and TBI about everything I know. And we could send you this conversation too. We turned it in. And, she kept avoiding the question about the surveillance. So we turned the conversation to TBI because it's weird after the search and stuff, she gets panicking and it's almost like she's scared. We haven't heard from her at all. Fred's been wanting to contact her because it's bothered him.
Because I was wondering, I know they had surveillance there at that driveway, and I was just curious if she had turned anything into TBI because it needs to be turned in.
Yeah, can you tell them a little bit about what happened?
Because supposedly when I pulled in to help that boy, I didn't know him from Adam.
This was on the 15th.
Yeah, this was on the 15th, about 4:15 when I seen him. And I pulled over and
June?
Yes.
In 21?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I pulled over just to ask him if he needed help. Well, Tim Shipley.
And this is right after you pull out of Ben Hill, soon after, about a mile away, right?
Yeah, okay. It's about a mile away from Ben Hill. But when I pull in, Tabitha and Tim was there at their driveway at the bottom, and they was trying to help that boy. And the boy that was with the boy on the bike, he was in a gold Lexus. Okay. I was trying to help them and stuff too, and Tim was, and then they couldn't figure out what was going on with it. And then he took in
asked if I might have a trailer or anything that I could haul it. And I told him, yeah, give me a few minutes and I'd run and get it. So I went back to Ben Hill. It was around 4:30 and I didn't see nothing when I went in Ben Hill and stuff and come back out. Then when I pulled back up, they was still all there at the motorcycle and stuff. And then the boy that owned the bike and the one in the gold Lexus actually helped loaded on the trailer and stuff, and then I asked him where he wanted me to take it to, and he said Molnex Drive, and I told him, I said, well, I don't know where Molnex Drive is. At the time, I didn't.
Now we do.
Oh, it was like a mile away, but he had me to take it to West Side Inn, and on the way to West Side Inn, he wanted to stop and get gas at Zoomer's. And then once we got gas there, took it to West Side Inn, but on the way there, he's talking about somebody had stole his bike and he had found it down there on Beach Creek. Well, the other night, Tabitha said that they told them that they found it on Ben Hill Road.
Which means it would have to be one of two addresses because there's cameras on Ben Hill.
There's cameras on Ben Hill and stuff, and he was never on the camera, so it just meant two addresses that he could have been, that bike could have been at, is either Don's or Andy's.
Yeah.
But on the way to the motel where he wanted me to take the bike to, he's talking about he had traded his father a red Toyota truck. He didn't say what type it was. He just said a red Toyota truck. He said it was jacked up on 38s, and he said it was like his daughter. It was weird way he said it at that time. As I look back, he said that was like my little girl, is the way he said it.
And then he made a weird comment.
Yeah, and then he made a weird comment about something about how I wonder how somebody's gonna like it if they ain't got their little girl or something like that.
Okay.
And I talked to law enforcement and stuff about it, but
That was early on, though.
yeah, that was early on in the case.
Now with these developments, it makes us wonder. I mean, the only thing different is this truck's jacked up and stuff. I mean, did these people? They mention how would somebody like? They make the comment about how would somebody like if their little girl, and he acted like these people who he just got his bike back from were involved in like stealing it or something. Is that the idea?
Yeah, he said
so. That's why we're saying it could be revenge on Don Wells or something like that. And we feel like Don knows. I mean, Don has to know, like somewhat at least, what this is all about because he came down to Fred's in August of 2021 and. Do you want to tell them about that? How about the boys situation? How that happened? Where the boys got taken?
Well, when he came and was wanting me to go to Knoxville and try to negotiate a deal with his dealer.
Yep.
Who was that?
Don.
Don did.
Oh, Don did.
Yeah. And then the next mornings when he had called for the supposedly DCS to come get the boys, he tried to say they weren't safe there because of YouTubers.
And then,
Of course, you guys gotta remember too that this is like, how Don, likes to tell stories sometimes and exaggerate things. So this is hearsay from what Don is telling Fred, So who knows what exactly is true about the whole CPS thing. And who knows? I mean, thankfully, Fred didn't go there because that probably would have been a really bad idea. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, who knows? This is all, like I said, this is only opinion. And also, once again, this is 6 months ago was this phone call. It was soon after that search at the Van Hill property. So, and I did ask Jason if it was okay, if he cared. I listened to the whole thing at first and just to make sure, really it's just us talking, me and Fred, just trying to give him information and trying to, and it was, and the hope was that, because he does have he has a lot of exposure on national platforms. We've seen him on, certain shows, like he can get a lot of reach, and the hope was that maybe he would be able to help, but like he says, we can only talk in conversation. He can't actually investigate the case because he's not licensed in Tennessee. So I didn't really know that until he had it, but it was cool being able to talk to him anyways. So I didn't know until 5 minutes in the phone call that he wouldn't be able to do really anything with the information or look into anything. So that was kind of a bummer. Jason Jensen. He's a pretty well-known private investigator who is used as like an actual expert on certain shows, like court TV and stuff. I think he's been on several times. You know how like Chris McDonough's like featured on there a lot? Jason Jensen gets used like pretty regularly too, I believe. Maybe not quite as much as Chris McDonough, but he's been used like several times. So I thought it was promising but until it's kind of a bummer, but you never know what kind of information like will come to him, and he might hear this or remember this conversation. I'm sure he has it recorded if it ever becomes important, I guess.
Trying to get him that was like August or July of 2021 or whatever.
I don't know exactly what that was, but it was after summer it went missing. When he was trying to pretend to be the crack furry.
Yeah, he said that he knew. I have a call with Don,
and that's another thing too.
He said that he knew.
These people love to freaking make it like Fred came up with a crack fairy idea. Dude, I literally have a clip on my channel, a short of Don himself telling the story of being the crack fairy. So nice try. It was absolutely Don Wills that told this story of it's just us calling him the crack fairy. It was a joke. Yeah, Jason Jensen is a licensed PI in many states, and McDonough was a homicide investigator, yes, for 30 plus years. So I don't know if they know the guys, I guess that would be, she claimed I put up the conversation with, between Fred and this woman, and she acted like in the conversation she didn't know who those people were. And like she was giving Fred a hard time because Fred said like one of them, like Fred thought it was this guy like J.R. Light or somebody, or Junior Light, I don't know, some guy. He thought it was weird because the guy had just got in an accident. It just was weird because he's like, how is he already... It freaked him out at first because he thought he was somebody who had been in a really bad accident. And, so he was like, but he realized it wasn't him. Well, this Tabitha woman in this conversation was like, trying to act like Fred was like, oh, like, how would that be Junior Light? He just got, and it's like, Fred's like, I know, I was just saying that the guy favored him, not that it was him. And then that's what made him stop at first and was like, in his brain, it took him a second, like in his brain to be like, wait, like I can't be that guy because that guy just got in a bad accident and wouldn't be out here driving.
Because he did. It was a pass for his twin brother.
Yeah, so it's just
and see, the car he was driving appeared to be his mother's car that his mother had. This reason it made me even think more about it.
But, like, obviously it clicked in Fred's brain. It couldn't be that guy. But it is interesting to note or take note that they favored each other because if it becomes important for law enforcement, for a description of those guys, well, Fred mistook one of the guys for a certain man for a split second in his mind.
The other guy, he was like he had some Hispanic in him, quite a bit.
And they were young.
Yeah, he was young, kind of dark brown hair.
Well,
Like shoulder length hair, but he had his hair, it was all the same length, but he had the front pulled back kind of like a woman in the ponytail on top,
a man bun.
I guess.
And then
But
what's
to
the
have
other guy
back
look
kinda
like?
down,
What's the other guy look like?
blonde headed, little bitty fella.
See, like his memory is crazy, guys. I'm telling you, my memory. I would never
But see,
remember this shit.
What didn't make sense when they said Molnex Drive at first, I'm like, I don't know where Molnex Drive is. And so him telling me, he's like, well, just take it to West Side Inn. And I said, well, that'd be fine. I'm going that way anyway. But when I finally got to Googling where West Side, or not West Side, but Molnex Drive was less than a mile from where they was broke down. So it didn't make sense why they would want somebody to haul it there when they could have pushed it right there. Because Molnex Drive is right behind Solomon's Temple Church.
Yeah,
And there's just
maybe they're just being lazy or something.
Mike Lawson lived or had that one place out there as you first go in, and then the trailer all the way back. I don't know who lived there at that time, but David Bays used to own it at one point.
Yeah. Well, we're only not even 20 minutes into this call, and this is almost 2 hours long. So this is going to be a long night, guys. I'll try to upload this call, I guess,
But
separate.
the only day I hauled motorcycles at all was on the 15th because I hauled that into West Side Inn, and then when I come back, I hauled one for Brandon back to Ben Hill and had it on the trailer when the search was going on.
I love how you repeat the story, too, about seeing the pool and all that in this, too, and exactly what you were doing, because they love to, say, he said he was up there in the truck, which is probably something I fucking said, to be honest. Like, I could see myself saying that, but, which is my bad, dude, but come on.
Cops had been accusing him of selling his daughter, so he was going to show them, and he said, so he went and purchased a lot of, like, several thousand of cocaine and decided to show him that he had plenty of money. He didn't have to sell his daughter, which didn't make sense how he said it, but I have a call with him saying something like that. Trying to think. We can't think how now.
I'm just trying to.
Paul, he does have pigs there, and the public does have access to that property. He sells product like on a
Well, I mean, if he's not there, they can just help themselves, whether it's lumber or whether it's meat or whatever, and he's got a drop box that they just put the money in.
Yeah.
If he's not home. But see, Paul did own a maroon Tacoma, but it had a cattle rack on it instead of a ladder rack.
Who did?
Paul Hill.
Paul Hill? It was a cattle rack?
What did you say? He's hard of hearing, sorry.
No, it was a cattle rack?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, most people may not know the difference. They just see it's a rack and give it a name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you tell us, Jason, like, I mean, we don't want any info, but can you confirm to us?
Well, Fred just wanted to correct something a little bit about, I guess, something about Paul's truck came up.
Yeah, his truck, instead of maroon, it's more of a orange-red color. One I always seen him drive with the cattle racks.
So he just wanted to correct
it. Kentucky and
he just wanted to correct himself that he called it maroon, and it was more like,
kind of orange-red.
Yeah, a completely different shade of red. Just to be precise.
But I have pulled up Paul's wife's Facebook, and they are a maroon truck there. But that was in 2019, I think it was.
I've known Jason Petito and Mary. I've known Jason since Petito and married girls murder in Utah, Crystal and wife. Oh yeah, that case was really interesting. Both of those were.
It was actually about the hills.
We can infer that.
Okay, because, the reason why, because there's also other people. There's a
the search on Paul Hill's property.
Sorry, I wish I hated how I talked over him.
So,
I know, but they didn't say, they didn't get pictures of him, of that, directly. They said it was a 3500 block and that the neighbors saw them parked over there. So
right.
we're just wanting, because we want to make sure we're looking in the right place, because there's also a vice lords, right, that lives right there, named Cody Compton, that was on Candace's Facebook,
Yeah, the search was on Paul Hill's property.
Okay, thank you.
Dug truckloads of soil from the property.
But what would they do with the dumps why would they take soil off the property?
Which I don't know about, I'm not sure where that came from.
What?
The dumps of the truckloads of dirt coming off the property. He's under the impression a bunch of,
that was coming from Jinkies and them.
yeah, and that's what I'm like, but.
I mean, a certain person that interviewed Frankie other than Ryan, he spoke like there wasn't no dirt ever at all.
Yeah, and Don B got an aerial view of the property and didn't look like anything was dug up. So I'm not sure, about what, I don't know about that. I would think he would know more than us, but I don't. Like they said, though, he can't investigate the case, but he was sent in things, they had to turn into TBI about the case, a couple times.
Well, as a pig farmer.
Yeah, but wouldn't they process it right there? Wouldn't that contaminate it?
No, they're going to haul it off to a warehouse and sift through it little by little.
Okay.
I mean, that seems to be the most efficient way to do it, not the most expedient way to do it, right? You want to make sure.
We just thought that would contaminate. When we heard that, we didn't think that was possible because we thought it would contaminate taking it from one place to the next.
No. I think what they're looking for is human remains. That's my theory.
Well, I talked to somebody, I can't say who, of course, which you wouldn't give, sources either, but she's retired from Hawkins County, and she talked to somebody, and they told her, she said, "Did you find anything?" And their exact words was, we found a few things, but we didn't find her.
Right.
So
my theory is that she was fed to the pigs, but that's just.
What's the Carlson light? And I don't know who. Where'd you get Carlson? Oh, what's Junior's first name? Oh, I don't know. I thought it was. I think Fred thinks of him as Junior.
Who?
Junior Light. Is his real name something else?
No. Who are you talking about?
I don't know. She's asking about a Carlson Light.
Carson Light just passed away. He's battled cancer for a long time. He's an older gentleman. Actually, his son's one that I was with when he stopped at Powell's and stuff, and Powell thought I'd sold his weed.
They were just asking what Junior's first name is, but I don't know. I don't know if we should put all that stuff out. I don't even know. If I imagine, I don't even know.
About JR Light.
Oh, JR Light.
Not Junior Light.
I said it wrong. See, it's JR. I see how.
I just know him as JR. I don't know what his real name is.
Yeah. So. And I don't even think it's relevant either, is it? Because it's just the fact that the guy looked like him.
Yeah, that's all.
And wasn't him, and it was impossible that it could have been him.
Because he had been in that bad.
Yeah. So it definitely was not him, so it's not even relevant. It's just the fact that the guy looked like him. You know what I mean?
I was trying to play it in my head, how in the hell is this him, and he's supposed to be pretty much vegetable state.
Yeah.
At that time.
Did he survive it?
Yeah. He's
okay.
Now.
Yeah.
Actually, Junior.
I wouldn't be as worried if he.
Of him now.
Okay, so he's having to be taken care of then. So see, he hasn't even been able to even sounds like he can't even walk. Is he paralyzed?
His mom didn't even know him when she pulled up on the wreck. She thought he was somebody else.
That's
she
sad.
Didn't recognize him or the car. And it happened at
yeah, so Fred knew that had happened, but it just didn't. I don't know. He just thought the guy at the time. It took him by surprise seeing him, thinking it was him for a split second. You know what I mean? He knew it wasn't. Obviously, after he, it's just. It is important to know what the guy looked like.
I mean, they had the trunk of the car and stuff open when I pulled over there and started helping them because they looked for a relay where somebody cut off the bike when they hotwired it or whatever.
Yeah, so they acted like they had just recouped their bike or something, had just found it. You know what I mean? And this is really close to where Summer Wells went missing.
Yeah, he just said he found it on Beach Creek and never mentioned about being healed, but Tabitha said that he told her and Tim that he recovered it on Ben Hill Road.
Yeah. And I don't know. That's just really weird, the timing and stuff, because that would have been about 4:15. That's a very, right? That would have been about 4:15 or something.
What?
When you ran into those people.
Yeah, the first time,
It would have been about
And then I went back to Ben Hill and hooked the trailer up. And then
and so this is very crucial timing.
See, that's what I was trying to say before too. They trying to say Candace was on camera on Light Holler at a certain time. Well, and they went home, so I come back out, and that's when I seen it bike. And I didn't see Candace along the road nowhere at all. I never even seen Candace on the 15th period. Candace or Grandis, either one.
I think Laura tried to say that.
Laura tried to say something about we had passed them or something other, because I'd contacted her here, I don't know, a few months back and asked her about what she was talking about us supposedly seeing Candace or whatever. She tried to say that Candace and Grandis, we had passed them somewheres out about 3/4 of a mile before you get to Ben Hill, and she tried to say that they was in the green Tahoe or the green Suburban or whatever it was.
Yeah, but Fred doesn't think that happened.
No, I don't remember seeing that at all.
And I don't know. No, I don't want to discredit Laura either, because I have nothing against her. She's my friend, and so I just think that is what she remembered, but I don't think it's true.
Or whatever, I don't even think was running at that time. Because Donnie mentioned something. He was trying to find somebody to put a motor or something in.
I just know Fred's memory, so I've been around him a lot, and so I know what I can rely on. When you know somebody and stuff. For instance, if Fred says he heard something, obviously he's not good of hearing, so I'm going to not be as put as much weight into something like that. But if it has something to do with memory, Fred is pretty on point, honestly. And it's just been a pattern. I've just noticed it. Some people's memories are just better than others, and that's just how he's blessed in that way. And I, so I can't fault if, Laura got some things like mixed up or whatever, because like I would have too. I mean, to be honest, my memory is horrible. I'm not even saying she's necessarily wrong. Like, I don't know. Like, I was not there, but I'm going by my, like, Fred's history and, like, what I've witnessed and how his memory's been, so I don't know. He's very, like, he notices, like, he's very observant. I am not whatsoever. You could change something, like, drastic in a room, and it would probably take me, like, hours for me to notice it.
Days.
Seriously.
You don't notice nothing.
No, I don't. It's really bad. Some people are just blessed in different ways, and that is just not for me. Like,
a dark mind.
Huh?
Well, when you're in a drug game like I was at that time, you always had to watch your surroundings, everything, and be very, I can say,
Diligent.
vigilant.
Yeah, vigilant.
Very vigilant.
In there.
Yeah.
So I would hope not, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me why they would haul off soil. They either thought that there was a decomposed body in the soil, or, like they're looking, since it's a pig farm, they're looking for excrement, human remains in it.
Are we for sure that they were digging up property? Like, that's absolute for sure?
Well,
they were actually digging land. Is that for sure? Like, absolute that's what they were doing over there?
I mean, that's just me with my 30 years experience, knowing what he did, having experience with victims that were fed to pigs. That's just.
I would think so too, but nobody can see this Paul guy. You know what I mean? It's like. It's just, I mean, unless it was somebody connected to him, are they trying to say that Paul is directly connected?
That I don't know. I mean,
okay.
I don't know for sure. I mean, if they searched my property, I think everybody on the planet would assume it was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if it's because it's such large property that was like along a riverbed or a trail, that's different, right? It's such a vast property. Doesn't necessarily mean that you did it, but someone dumped a body on your property. So,
see, that was my concern.
Whether Paul directly or just because it's Paul's property, there's some inference there, but it doesn't necessarily make it conclusive. It just depends on where they dug it up. And obviously, in his offense, he could easily say, oh, yeah, it was along the river's edge or whatnot. It's amazing, just like what happened in Delphi, if you're familiar with Delphi.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Abby and Libby's body was found on Ron Logan's property near the Melancholy Pool. He was not convicted.
I know.
Even though it was his property.
Yeah. Yep.
So it doesn't necessarily mean it's Paul, but if I was Paul, I would probably come forward and say, yeah, they searched my property, much like in Delphi, I had nothing to do with them.
Yeah, I wish that somebody could come up and speak, would speak out, and because automatically people are trying to blame now Paul, this Paul character is, I guess, blaming Fred for this tip.
Oh, really?
Yes, blaming his nephew is what people are saying in the comments. His druggy nephew must have done, blaming Fred. Fred's been clean for 2 years. Like, and one of the best people I know.
So they're trying to say that you tipped off Paul.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Because you're his nephew, right? Or is there another nephew?
No.
Yeah, I'm his nephew too.
Well, he has a lot of nieces and nephews, but like Fred's the one that's been working straight with the case. Andy Bernard is his relative, but I don't think would be considered his nephew. I think it would be his. It might be like great nephew or something.
Yeah, great nephew.
So in a way, yes, but I think they're trying to insinuate Fred, because Fred's been the one that's like helped with law enforcement and saw Andy on the road and been so vocal about that, like.
But we've tried to make it clear that we've not been the one that turned that tip in, because I didn't. That's the last person I probably would have suspected of anything.
Well, if you want, I could easily help do that. I got a lot of the people looking at me. I could easily say I just spoke to Fred Hill, and I'm convinced he was not the one that, well, I know for a fact he wasn't the one that was placed the tip in the TBI. I mean, I could do that for you.
Yeah, because that's where we just want Paul to know.
So he just was going to put out and just say that because he knew who turned in the tip, he was just saying like, oh, it wasn't Fred. That's the only part that he was like vouching on that part, because he knew that part for a fact. But I don't even think that's even an issue even at this point. But at that time, like some people were trying to insinuate that it was Fred that turned something in. And if he did, like, we would say so, but it wasn't him. And, Fred, like we just talked about the whole wagon train incident, like him and Paul didn't have that good of a relationship. Did the Shipleys seem to know the guy? Oh, you mean the guy that was broken down on the motorcycle? If we'll see here.
They didn't act like they didn't act like they know each other. I mean, one little bit I was there, before we left.
He said he didn't think. Somebody is saying that, is the audio sounding really loud? I mean, I can turn down my phone call if it's too loud. But it's probably not going to be the best of audio, honestly. I could turn it down. But yeah, Fred was saying he didn't think that they acted like they knew each other.
But if we knew anything, we would turn it in. If we knew something on them.
I think the internet's going to speculate, right? They're going to run crazy and say whatever they want. And silence isn't your friend, because silence means that they run off saying what they're saying and no one corrects them. So it's best that someone come forward, even if it's you, and you say, I'm Fred Hill's wife, if he's not the tipsters, leave us alone.
I did that yesterday. I did do that on my Ziggy channel, and I get a pretty good reach. But yesterday, I was just doing my nails, so there probably wasn't very many people watching. There was only maybe 75 in chat at the time. So yeah.
And in contrast, this is my reach. I posted what I did in June. Remember about the brother, turn your brother in.
Mm-hmm. And we suspected Marlena Crawford.
I had over 2.5 million views.
But who's involved with Summer, whether it's my family or whose family, I want them to be charged.
Yeah, we want this over. This has ruined Fred's. I mean, not ruined it, because he's good. He handles it well, but
because everyone keeps talking about you. And I'm scratching my head every time I hear the name come up. It's so what if different facts come out in different interviews? You're asking different questions. That's common knowledge that,
it comes
if
out.
I ask you what the sky is today and I say gray, but, in a week from now, you ask me what color the sky is and I say blue, it doesn't mean I'm lying one or the other. I give you a different answer based on what I know for the day.
Yeah.
Well, Fred has a really good memory, and there's nothing I've seen. I have never once, in the time I've known him, I know people aren't going to believe me, I've never once caught him a lie. And anything in our personal relationship...
The closest thing I've heard that was disparaging to you, Fred, was that that your story has changed. I'm like, I haven't heard any changed stories.
No, we haven't either.
I know.
We keep asking.
I mean, if they asked me something last year and then asked me something today, and if I leave one little detail out, then I've changed my story. If
exactly. They don't understand how the human mind works. Right. Is you are constantly adding information to your memory based on new input, based on a new conversation.
Good night, Under Your Scars. Yeah, that's fine. Check out the replay. It's interesting to listen to what we were talking about like 6 months ago. So, and yeah.
Based on something you read, your story will change as you're drawing conclusions. So there's a big difference between just give us the facts and what do you think happened. That's a whole different.
Exactly.
Get a whole different range of answers.
Yeah. Exactly. And they get him, like, Fred's the one that turned on, okay, the Cotton Simpson stuff, that came from Fred. He was the first one that mentioned Cotton Simpson when he was in jail. I did an interview with him when he was in jail. It was before we were together because, I mean, he was on drugs. At the time, I was clean. It was not my lifestyle, you know, but he was in jail. I was recording him. And, of course, YouTube called the jail and harassed so bad. And, I mean, I think it's just jealousy because they're afraid that Fred's going to, you know, get some kind of attention. Fred doesn't want this attention.
I don't want the attention, period.
At all. Like, he's not a YouTuber. I'm the one that has...
Especially when it comes to a missing child, everybody... I mean, look at what they did to John Benet Ramsey's family. You know, they've been a villain for 29 years, too many, and they had nothing to do with it. But, you know, to the people that falsely believe they had something to do, you'll never change their mind.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that don't like
me. And there will still be people who will say, Patsy did it. It's like, why would you think that? Healthy parents don't kill their kids.
Yeah. Right.
I don't want to try and get them help.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of them, they don't like me. So I was a YouTuber before me and Fred were together, but I just started with the case. I didn't mean to. I just happened to. I will never cover another case again because of this experience. But I can't stop. I can't stop.
It's too traumatic.
It is traumatic. It is, and it's like.
And this is the number one reason why I don't have a YouTube channel, because, you know, people like to dissect everything you say. I mean. And the thing that I like about Facebook is I put a couple sentences up, and it's there forever, and people can ask me all they want, and I'll ignore them. It's like,
exactly.
I'm not going to answer that. I don't have to.
How many times do you have to I'm sorry, excuse my language, but how many times do you have to freaking answer a question? Like, people...
Exactly. It's like, I'm not going there. There's a reason why I have a license. I have tight lips. I don't say nothing. I just say enough.
We don't expect you to. I don't go to anybody and ask them our information. If I volunteer it to you, it's because I want you to have it in case it could help.
And see, I don't know what's valuable to the case or what not, what ain't.
Well, none of us do, because, you know, the only ones that know the information is Hawkins County, TBI, and now the FBI.
Yeah,
because they're involved.
Yeah, but see, I'd helped Hawkins County so much in the case and talked to them about everything I knew or whatever. So I don't know what else to really present to them that may help.
Right.
Well, the information we turned in a year ago, so they wanted to know. We got a call back, and the last time we turned a tip before today or yesterday was a year ago, and it was just a regurgitation of information that they should have already known.
Right.
Fred recorded for Hawkins County, but we're really concerned that there is miscommunication. We know there's miscommunication between TBI and Hawkins. We know for a fact. We've heard directly. Fred and the investigators told Fred that nothing's getting passed through its desk. It's going straight into the trash.
I mean, that came from investigators talking.
Yeah, when he went and turned in his information.
For the information on Knoxville.
Yeah, so that was, so let's see, the beginning of this year, or the end of last year was when we turned in that last tip, and got a call back, and all it was a reminder to TBI, hey, just reminding you, Fred recorded, just letting you know, Fred saw Andy on the road. We don't understand why. Andy's all over YouTube saying he wasn't on the road when he absolutely was, and he was on cameras, and he knows he was. Law enforcement spoke to him about it. Why is nothing being done? And Fred's being looked at as a liar and as the as a suspect when law enforcement's never had made Fred feel he's a suspect ever. He was recording for him since day one.
Right.
But what was suspicious about Andy when he went into Hollow, there was already a truck back there that was almost like sitting around waiting on somebody. And then when he went in, and then when he come back out, that truck was right on his bumper.
Right.
And that's the truck that they wanted to ask about when they called us back. When TBI called us back, that was the only thing that they were interested in, is, do we know who was driving that truck? We're like, well, Andy, ask Andy Bernard. He seems to know the person.
Right.
Which, by the way, this is my opinion only. When I'm speaking, it's my opinion only. It's not fact. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's just what my opinion and what I know to be, what I feel is true. So, I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not gonna say this is all absolute fact, but it's definitely my opinion.
They have it on camera, but I guess, like, I don't...
The way the cameras is setting up through the holler, you can see the side view of the vehicles, but you can't see no tag numbers or nothing.
And we have Fred's sister that they know is trying to set Fred up, who we think's also involved with all this in some way, helping cover up, helping Andy, helping the whole group. Fred's sister even law enforcement told Fred that she had been trying to set him up. And she got very weird after Summer went missing and started hiding, ducking down in cars, wouldn't be seen back in Ben Hill Road.
Never drive her own vehicle to Ben Hill Road or nothing. She'd have my other sister to drive her to Ben Hill Road and stuff. It was just weird the way she was acting.
Yeah.
That sounds like, shit, that's not normal.
Yeah.
And then when she did come, the first time she come and had my sister to drive her down there, and she was hiding, slumped down in the seat and stuff, didn't want to be seen. Then once she got to my mom and dad's at 167, she told my sister that she was going to walk over on the ridge line and spy on Andy and Jody Sue for some reason, which was strange too.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that is a little weird.
Yeah, and then we hear from...
Jinx! Me and Jason just jinxed. Oh, gosh.
Who can believe Cher? She's like, I don't know, she was trying to set us up. I don't know why, trying to get information, or trying to get views, but she tried to make it, we don't want anything to do with the games. We're tired of it. We want this to be over. We're not going to participate in anything that is anything drama. Fred will not go on anybody's panels at this point, like, besides Sweetie Pie Low. But, what was I going to talk about? I was talking about...
But the only 4 vehicles that was suspicious in the area on the 15th was that Mississippi tag that came in Ben Hill.
Okay.
And then that dark blue GMC Canyon. It was a single cab. It was so dark blue it could almost been mistaken as black. But the windows was tinted so dark. See, that's one that followed Andy back out. And then there was a white PT Cruiser that had been set, not PT Cruiser, white HHR that had been set in that Simpson Loop and Beach Creek, straight across from Don's property at the bottom shed. It had been there for like 2 or 3 days. I think in 3 days. The 13th, 14th, and the morning of the 15th. And then that bike that was supposed to have been stolen.
See, why is it like every single thing like that Fred says, like these people, like certain ones, like to say is lies? Like every single thing like he experienced, they want to act like it just is completely made up. Oh, they want to say, oh, the pool thing didn't exist, and oh, the broke down bike didn't exist. Fred didn't see Andy on the road. Like every single thing they want to debunk. Everything Fred just made up everything. Is what they try. Oh, he didn't record for law enforcement. The 15, 16, 17. That's a whole lie. All this is just straight up lies. Like every single thing they want to act like is a lie. Or, oh, he just mistook all of these things and none of this is true. Every single thing, like, it's just like a figment of his imagination. Every single thing. Come on now. Even Don Wells tells some truth sometimes. You're going to tell me all these things, like, every single one they, like, want to debunk, like, that did not happen.
And
you only know about
that's
the fourth.
only 4 vehicles. That's odd.
Just to reiterate, you only know about the 14th that it was saying there, because if you're not exact, because we weard that Jackie Dobbs, you weren't in and out.
I don't know about the 14th. I know it was there the 13th and the morning of all day the 13th, and then
he didn't see it for himself on
the morning of the 15th when I went out.
On the 14th, he wasn't in and
But
out.
Jackie Dobbs
have some Swedish fish
on a YouTube channel. He had seen it there on the 14th, so
Hopefully
I
this
was
isn't
assuming
too
it was
loud.
there for 4 days. I know it's there for 2 days for sure. Different days.
And the people he thought looked like they could be like darker skinned.
Yeah, they looked darker skinned. There was like 3 different ones standing out down there around it.
Like hanging out there. And so we do know too that Fred's sister Karen is into some illegal activities like through Guatemala. Weird transactions down there.
This is just alleged. It was a private conversation. It is Fred's experience, what he experienced, but we're just assuming that something illegal is going on with these, like, receipts and this Guatemala stuff and all that shit and the green dots. That is obviously speculation.
Rumors that she was sleeping with Don Wells.
Rumors.
Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. Cher told me that one time when she was on the phone.
Yeah, it came from Cher, so we gotta, obviously, who knows if she made it up.
Candace was crying that Dawn slept with Fred Hill's sister, Karen, and she's been inserted on YouTube nonstop in this straight trying to slander Fred every day of her life, since for 2 years now, since the Cotton Simpson stuff came out. Before that, she was nowhere.
Yeah. Well, there's an incident with her in Virginia too, where she had her son to go rob this man and stuff, and then they take a crime scene. Something went bad when he went to rob him and stuff, and then they brought the crime scene back to her house and staged everything, and she was charged for that.
Yeah, she's not a good person. We think you
in my opinion,
stuff from Guatemala, those receipts that when you were clearing out your parents' house, that she had stashed there of receipts to Guatemala, like transactions, MoneyGram cards or whatever they're called.
There's all kinds of receipts from Guatemala and cards, and there was a wig in there. There was a bunch of gloves in there. There was like different type clothes, like changes of clothes in it, like bag and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, she's into some really bad stuff.
It was almost like she had a bag that she could take and change out, put a wig on, all this and that, clothes, gloves, everything if she needed to.
Does she have access to the Paul Hill property? Does she have access over there?
Her and Paul used to be pretty tight. She used to buy a lot of meat.
See, people need to be looking at other family members, not Fred.
But see, the only thing about Paul, though, just about everybody on Beach Creek around there has access to his property almost at any time.
Right. Okay.
So anybody could have put anything there.
And he processes meat there too, obviously.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah, he used to kill hogs every Thursday. I don't know if he still does it or not, but he used to did back 10 years or something ago.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, and
It's mixed sausage, right? So it's not that weird, but it's weird when it comes to your life.
We thought at the time, because Marlena Crawford was making her rounds and stuff, we thought she was the one that contacted you. She is a person that was spending a lot of time at the wells. We also are very suspicious of her. We thought, I'm just going to tell you, we thought you were talking about Daniel Hayes, or like her ex. And
See, and that's what these haters wanted to act like, oh, Siggy knew it was, like I, was lying about me believing that something with Daniel Hayes, I forget, they tried to say that I was like absolutely just just saying that, like I didn't really believe what I was saying. Yeah, it's a live chat. We're just playing a call here, though. That is from the call that I'm playing is from the end of last year between me, Fred, and Jensen, who is a kind of like a somewhat famous, a little bit. He has a little bit of notoriety. He gets featured on Court TV and stuff like that. I think it's Court TV, is some show like that. But I was under the impression that he could work the case, so I was super excited to talk to him because I thought it was a big opportunity. But I was kind of bummed finding out that he wouldn't be able to work the case. And that actually he was just sent some stuff, people send him stuff randomly about different cases, and he had just relayed the info to TBI. So, and he did put, certain stuff out on social media. So at the time I thought that maybe he might be able to help, like in the case, but no. So this was more just like a conversation. But we were trying to see, the idea was to try to inform like him of what like Fred actually experienced himself, and what he witnessed on the 15th and stuff like that, what him himself, like as an eyewitness, that day. Because there were several, and there's a lot of like freaking weird things that happened that day in a way, like, but anyways.
his brother. So that's where I was like convinced that's what you were talking about. He goes, his name is Chad Daniel Hayes, but he goes by Daniel Hayes around the creek. Everybody goes by their different names around there. And he was always, Don was always accusing him of stealing things from him and stuff. And Marlena Crawford, like, her son, or her daughter was the one that was, like, friends with Summer. She was Journey. And anyways, Fred knows all them, too. He's lived there his whole life. They've lived there generations. He knows these people. He was in the drug game. But they're all trying to pin it on Fred and use him as a scapegoat because he's the oddball out. Fred's not a sick pervert like many of these other people. He is the most he's so respectful, and he's never even called me out of my name in all the years I've known him. So it's just so disheartening, all this. We want it to be over.
Yeah, he heard about that.
And if there's anything we can do to help you, I don't know, or that you think might help, or that you can do.
Yeah, Fred heard about Clifford passing away. I think he had cancer or something, if I remember right. Everybody's passing away is crazy.
to move anything. I know you're not licensed in Tennessee, but
yeah, what I can do is just convey information, social media, because there is even if as a PI, I do have a right of First Amendment right to free speech. I can say stuff, but I can't investigate because I'm not licensed there. Although I think it's funny that YouTubers and creators and journalists and everyone else can investigate, but they don't have a PI license either. Mm-hmm. But I don't ask questions. I don't want to lose my license.
Really? Is that you could lose your license just for asking questions?
Well, I mean, for practicing PI work without a license, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So you can't even have a real this is just a conversation. This is not PI work. This is conversation.
Right, and that's how I look at it. It's like we're just talking. Yeah. It's no point talking.
It's conversating.
Which it was, honestly, me and Fred talking most of the time. So yeah, I was disappointed about that he couldn't investigate it.
I mean, I would think that you can't help who comes to you with information, and I came to you.
Well, exactly, you didn't come to us. I can't. I have no control over that.
Right. So, and we would never we're never like all these others trying to get information out of people. We just want this to be over with. Everybody's always trying to use us for clicks and views, and it's like we're so open, there's no need for all this. Like the other day they tried to freaking trick us to get on a panel, and Ernie, Shell, and make mockery of it. We're not going to be a part of that stuff. We're not. So I don't know, unless you have any other questions. We don't want to keep you forever.
But Powell, when he had them, last I knew, when the hogs was run like free range all over his whole property instead of in a lot or anything. When my dad used to help him kill hogs and stuff, they'd have to go all over the property to find the one that they wanted to kill usually.
Right.
It's kind of got me confused about.
What processes a meat? Is there a big, huge machine? Could somebody have put something in a machine?
Well, I mean, yeah, they could have
grind it. I mean, it's very
simple. Where you grind the meat and stuff. I mean,
you grind it, then you stuff it. Sometimes it's intestine. Sometimes it's
right.
Yeah.
Just to make sure it's.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a big setup. I mean, he's got them 3 sawmills. Then he's got that meat house, and I mean, it's just almost like a commercial building inside that's a big cooler and stuff.
Right.
We heard that they were also down at Frankie's. So Frankie lives a couple houses down. So they were also parked there allegedly. So I'm just wondering. Okay. Oh, this is one thing I forgot to tell you. Frankie has a brother named Randy. Randy, I went one time when I was down in Tennessee. It was actually the first time, I think, January of 2022. I got lucky and ran into some of the tree trimmers that had been working the day Summer went missing, and I did an interview that's on YouTube with them. And they had mentioned a tree trimmer named Randy. And now all of a sudden, I'm like, I didn't think that Frankie Hill, their tree service would have been the ones working that over there because they're contracted, or they're not contracted.
Right? Like the perfect storm, just like Jody Sue said. Huh.
Sorry, I don't think they. Frankie, does he do contract work?
I don't think he does contract. He's personally.
So, but now we're kind of wondering, what's that?
That's where you spoke to him, right there.
Oh.
And he said that he's seen Summer, the guy Randy, that a former worker of the tree company, has seen Summer in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
That morning on the 15th.
Yeah, that's what they were telling me, and I'm wondering if it's the same Randy now. I didn't know Randy was a part of I don't think Fred was aware that he's a part of the tree service. We thought it was just Frankie.
Yeah, I just know the Frankie doing tree work.
And I don't know. I guess he goes by just Frank, so I apologize. I don't know why we thought Frankie. But I thought that's what maybe when he was younger, he was called Frankie or something. Not looked into enough, so why isn't every question those who should have been more responsible or held? Yeah, nobody's even focusing on the ones closest to Summer anymore. It's crazy.
But their dad does timber, does the lumber work. So, Paul, I mean, how old is Paul? Is he?
He was born, I think, in 55. So
really that young?
Paul?
If 55, that'd only be like 68.
I think it's about his age. I'm thinking it was 55 when he was
Let's
born.
see, 55.
Okay. Well,
I'm thinking.
I don't know, right? So it's like
76.
I was really surprised that they even searched there.
You were?
I think we were all surprised.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that you didn't know. Okay, well, shit. No, I'm good.
But see, Powell has a good reputation through law enforcement, everything in that area. That would be the last place that they would actually think about searching.
So it would be a good place, I guess, if somebody's
because our community thinks the world of Powell, the law enforcement and stuff think highly of him and everything, would not never suspect nothing of that property.
Right.
That's crazy.
So, so if everybody thought that would be the last place to look, that might be the place for someone to hide or remain, thinking they'll never search that.
Yeah.
So your tip had nothing to do with that property then? It was something around it, okay.
It was about people, not a place. So I was surprised to hear that was searched. Yeah. And I never thought you had anything to do with it. So for the name Hill to pop up at all caught me off guard.
Yeah.
So that tells us that the brothers, or the tip that he got about some brothers, wasn't a Hill brother. Wasn't the name Hill, because at all, because he said he was surprised to hear that name come up.
It's my experience that somebody that's involved in a child abduction and or death is silent. They're not going to be talking about it. And so for you to be willing to come forward is contrary to that self-preservation logic that would be there if you were guilty of something. So that's why I think it's profound that anyone would ever point a finger at you. It's because these are amateurs. They don't know what they're doing. They just grasp at the next tree branch that's hanging in their face, right? It's like, oh, Fred Hill, he's talking. And we've got somebody.
Paul Hill, Fred Hill, same amount of letters.
Yeah.
Sounds the same. They must be. If Paul Hill and Fred Hill has the same amount of letters, they must be connected. Like,
must be
and it's a small community with deep ancestral roots.
Yep.
I mean, look, you're all related to Ben Hill, and that's what the road is named after. Yep. So guess what? Your names are going to be in common, because it's like someone coming here to my community going after Jensens. Yeah. There's so many Jensens here, it's not even funny. So, I think it would be smart for you to go forward and say, I appreciate the work of TBI, but I had nothing to do with this, so people can stop spreading rumors about me.
Well, we have, obviously, since I do. I mean, he's always in the background of my lives, and he's always answering anybody and everybody's questions.
Oh, I know, right?
He has an open line. People always messaging him on Facebook, and he always responds to them and stuff.
I'm an amateur myself, though, too, I guess, and I have speculated on people, but I feel, though, I guess I try to remember that I just know Fred a lot better than other people. I try to give certain people grace and stuff. But to me, certain things, I feel like certain people that have been around for a long time, like, should know better in some ways. Like, I just feel like certain things are so obvious to me at this point and should be to others. But, like, I have to also remember not everybody's, like, experienced and seen everything I have, like, that I've witnessed firsthand. And, you know, not everybody knows, like, they don't experience, I mean, we experience things through different worldviews. I don't know. Some people, though, like he says in this, like, people get their mindset on things, and no matter what, they're always going to believe certain things. Even if, like, law enforcement comes out and says, like, so-and-so is not involved, right? There's still going to be people who are dead set on like, people would still, like, theorize, especially, like, or they move on to something else and be like, oh, well, he did this, or Cotton Socks did this, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. You didn't just randomly pull a name out of your behind and spend every day for years trying to convince everybody. Yeah, that's true. And I've like, as time has gone on and I've witnessed new things, like, my opinion has changed a little bit in certain ways. And I do try to be a little bit more, like, I don't know. I've evolved a little bit. Seriously, how most people think they can know. I know, or they'll think that I'm just, like, so in love with Fred that I just don't see the truth or whatever, or they'll try to. It's just crazy to me, but when you want to believe something so bad, like, a lot of people will just be like, it doesn't matter what you show them.
We don't go in the other hate channels or anything, but every time we're live or somewhere, there's Andy Bernard in chat, like, trying to rewrite history.
Not so much anymore. I haven't seen him around. I don't know. Like, but I don't go into these places, so I don't see, like, really. That's the main thing. Like, if I have to get any type of anything for, like, hordes, for example, or whatever, I don't even pay attention to the chat. You know what I mean? So I'm not even freaking sure if he's still in the chats like he was at some point. But around this time, he was. Oh, yeah, that is crazy. That dog getting dragged, that was horrible. That is horrible, dude. That was something like nightmares are made of, that video. I wasn't on the road!
I mean, I don't know if he had anything to do with some or whatnot, but he was on the road and he's lying about it. That's what makes it suspicious, you know.
Right, but it may also be just the fact that I don't want to be accused of it. Right. Look at what happened in Delphi. Richard Allen innocently said that I was there and I didn't see anybody. Next thing you know, he finds himself convicted. So,
oh, that's scary. I don't know about that, dude. I don't know if he's really guilty. That's crazy.
He's not. I was on the defense team. I know what really happened, and it was Ron Logan.
Yes, it definitely was Ron Logan. I mean, God, it sounded exactly like him. I mean,
it looks just like him. Body shape.
I know. Exactly. Poor freaking kid. Poor guy, dude. You know, this Ron guy, he's probably, or this, I'm sorry, the one that was arrested,
Rick Allen, he's just a beta male that had depression,
a good target.
Yeah, I don't know, guys, like, how I feel about that whole Delphi thing. Like, sometimes, though, I wonder about that, and if they got the wrong guy, and I don't know. I wonder that also about the case about, what's her name, the other girl, the Trent, I think it was the Trent girl, Carly Trent, that situation. I kind of wondered about that guy that went down for that, too. Like, if he was the fall guy, because he was not, like, mentally quite right. But yeah, I do wonder on the Delphi case.
Easy target.
A rut of a routine, basic job, go shoot pool once a week. He had the most boring life on the planet.
Yep.
And he finds himself in prison. Just a weak mind.
Yeah. And like I've never been afraid of Fred really going down for something that in this case, because I know he's not involved, but I'm not going down. But it does happen, it does happen. But
But that's why it would make sense for Paul to come forward. So that just for the record, they searched my property, but I have a vast property. Anybody could have put something here without my knowledge, and and you guys come forward saying, we had nothing to do with this, and certainly I didn't offer any tips against my uncle or whatever, like the rumors are spreading. Please leave my family alone. We all wait with bated breath what the TBI and FBI discovered.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly and that's what we've been doing. We're not going to argue with people and go back and forth. They're trying to get views, and it causes confusion.
And they're trying to create some kind of drama. And if anyone thinks that you or your family had something to do with it, they're just hoping to poke the bear until you lash out and say something.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
That's how YouTube works.
They're trying to get us to.
They try to get you reactive.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I flipped out yesterday, or day before yesterday, big time on YouTube. Because on Benny freaking Keys, because he was up to his freaking shenanigans, and I'm like, again, I've been dealing with this guy for 5 years now. I know.
Oh God.
How he operates. So I'm like, Benny, he's banned. He's not even supposed to be on YouTube. Yeah. So either is Ernie, of course, but they're both mental. They're just trying to cause they know Fred's not involved.
I feel fix and views all it is for them.
Because I've talked to but is there anything else we don't?
I just can't get something that Jody had said too. She said that if somebody wanted to find Summer, if they go more towards Rogersville or Greene County, 7 minutes from the first road.
And that's like right there.
Yeah, that's what I can't get out of my head too, her saying that.
Because that would be where
she's a neighbor of Dawn and Candace's on the other side of the road. She was with Andy Bernard, and see, when all that happened with Summer, Andy left on the 18th and never come back, and then they got restraining orders against each other and stuff, sent her son to the military, all that stuff, all at the same time.
Yep.
A lot of land transfers, everything.
What was that, Jason?
So that's fascinating. Ship your kid off to military school and divorces, but that's funny.
We think he's involved for sure. I mean, that's the only reason why Jody Sue is trying to protect. Is the only reason why she's protecting Andy is because he got their son wrapped up.
Okay, so that was just an opinion of mine. So I'm just saying opinion only. This is not fact at all. This was just a strong theory of mine, especially at that time.
too. So now here she is stuck in the middle between a rock and a hard place because she doesn't want her son. Like, she's pissed off at Andy, in my opinion, for dragging their son into it, but now here she is all day long trying to protect her son on the freaking internet.
I mean, that's
he took out
our opinion, you know.
Yeah, it's our opinion,
but see, EquiSearch they own property. Andy's parents owns property on Fields Road as well. And when EquiSearch searched it, they found disturbed ground and thought somebody had moved something. That's when they quit advertising where they was going to search next because they thought somebody was moving her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Fred was there, there. Like,
I don't know what that beeping was. That was something on his end, I think. I think Knoxville trips were important. Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's hard to know what exactly is important for Summer Wells, you know? Like, you know, I think of that, and then I think of those people broke down, and there's so many weird things that have happened.
Because he was working right with law enforcement. I mean, they took him into the command center, and Bronny Lawson even took a picture with him to put out at a later date.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, seriously, and people we're like, will you put the picture out already?
Well, he wants to do the picture after it's over.
He said he wanted to take, how did he say it? He said, it was when Fred went in to get booking.
I was there when they took me for that polygraph that day, and then when I come back out, he was up in booking, and he asked the people in book, the one that usually does the photos and stuff in booking, to take a picture of me and him, and they're looking at him like, what's going on? And he got to explain it to them that I'd helped so much in Summer's case, worked with them side by side and stuff, that he wanted a picture so one day he could prove to everybody how much I did help with it.
Well, that makes sense. And so you did take a polygraph and you passed it.
Well, the polygraph was for...
The polygraph I took was for Cotton Simpson.
For the information he turned in on that.
Oh, okay, so unrelated to Summer.
Well, no.
Yeah,
well, kind of. We think
that... there was one question in it, asked if I thought that he had something to do with Summer, because he had came to my house like 6 months after Summer went missing and stuff, and he was talking weird and stuff, saying that he was at the hill on the 15, sleeping with mother and daughter. Didn't say who body and stuff. They didn't know exactly who done it. And then the very next day, they find him a little run right next to a cave, within 60 foot of a cave. That's what I had talked to law enforcement about, and were one of his neighbors. Well, the woman that lives right above where they found Cotton's body, which is Kenda Cotton, she had told that he had a gash and stuff in the back of his head, and supposedly the law enforcement hadn't released that to nobody. And where she had told me, and I had repeated that, that's why they wanted to do back his head.
Got it. That makes sense.
But we're trying to they won't give us those results. People have tried, so it must have something to do with it, because they won't give us those results. We begged, Don B, which is another YouTuber, tried to, because we've never done the the FOIA.
What does it say on it? See, when she done that polygraph on me that day, she told me that where she was just reading it right there at the second, that she had to put, what I can't think of the word.
She had to put
inconclusive.
No, not inconclusive. No opinion.
No opinion. But she said if I wanted the final reading, I'd have to contact the Nashville office, and it would cost me $40 to get it. Because she said it had to go to Nashville for 4 or 5 different people to read it at one time.
Yeah, so all he was given was a sample.
Well, and that's what she mailed it straight, a copy of that to my address at 167, and that's when my sister got it and put it online before the final reading from Nashville's never been.
His sister put that online as if the no opinion was actual results, and that meant something with, like, Fred was somehow guilty in some way. She went and stole all his mail. Oh my God, there's so much fraudulent shit she's done. Like, dude, that we have absolute proof.
To do with Summer, though.
Well, I don't know. It could have something, because she was wanting to really keep you in jail because she wanted all that property, and she didn't. And I think she's scared. She told Fred's other sister that me and Fred would not be together no matter what she had to do. And I've never met her, and it's like, why? Like, he's changed. I think because she doesn't want us working together, and because you're so, like, not good with technology. If it wasn't for me, none of this would be going on YouTube, because you don't want to be a YouTuber and stuff. So
I'm surprised that she's not. I'm pretty sure she's probably one that sold the SD cards that had where the Hawkins County took and made copies of all my SD cards of the cameras up and down Ben Hill on the 15th. Yeah. So I turned in 5 different camera chips that they downloaded, and then they give me my chips back. And then they had access to them for days after that. I mean, as long as they wanted to use them.
And those suddenly disappeared.
But they when I went to jail.
In 2023, before he even had a chance to, like.
But law enforcement's got copies of them.
They do have copies, but we don't have them. Like, there's several people on that road that have surveillance and know Andy was on the road, but nobody will talk because they're still around there.
Law enforcement knows he was on the road. They confronted him about it, but he just still won't.
He won't admit it. Now we look like big liars, and law enforcement won't even admit that Fred, won't say anything about Fred working with them either. So
where does Andy live?
Where's Andy live?
Yeah.
Currently is Long Star.
In his parents' driveway in a camper.
I mean, how about in 2021?
He lived at 125 across from Don Wells' driveway.
Okay, so he lived right across the street. So he was living across. Isn't that Paul's address too?
Paul's address is Van Hill. Van. V-A-N.
Down the road. Okay.
Yeah, but
it's like 9 miles
away. Fred and Andy and Don Wells all lived on Ben Hill Road. Don and Andy lived at close to the front of the holler. There was no cameras right there. There wasn't a camera until you got past Andy Bernard's at the Thompsons. So anything that happened right there in that little gap was not on camera. So just like that person that Fred helped with the motorcycle who claimed they got that from Ben Hill, that was not on camera. So it had to have been Don or Andy
property that it was found.
That they went to, because that's the only other 2 properties that did not get on camera.
But see, when Andy was thinking,
I'm having to play this because there's a lot. Like, we're only just got over halfway done, so I'm having to. I don't know. I'm not going to stop it a lot. It's pretty self-explanatory for the most part, but a lot of this, like I said, is our opinions and Fred's firsthand experience on June 15th, and his opinion about these SD cards that went missing. And unfortunately, I didn't know Fred in 2023 well enough, where we would have never had an opportunity, except because I had only seen him twice before that or something. I never had an opportunity. Those were stolen before anybody even got to see that shit.
And see, when Julie and Karen went there, when Laura when I went to jail or whatever, when they was trying to run Laura off or whatever, that's when Karen grabbed him. Remember Julie saying Karen grabbed him bundle of phones and
electronics
stuff.
Yeah, so
before they went to 207, and Karen was trying to bust out stuff inside the
Yeah, so these SD cards like disappeared when Fred unexpectedly went to jail, and like they were trying to get Laura out of there, and they just like Karen was just like helping herself to everything in there, and these mysteriously get gone. So that's what we're talking about the SD cards. Oh, was there a lady that lived in a camper on the Wills property? No, I'll go ahead and get through this. I think.
I went missing. I don't know of anybody other than Grandis living up there in the camper. There's just one camper up there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there was ever any other woman that lived up there. Oh, wait. Rose Myers, but
she had address there, but I don't know how long she lived there or whatever. But that one that talked about living there in that camper that Ryan had interviewed or whatever.
Oh, I don't watch him.
Devin.
J. Sue said her SD cards were stolen too. I know she did say something like that.
She tried to say there was some or something.
Well, I just know, I don't know. Here we still are, just still waiting for some kind of truth to ever be put out with that.
Like, there's many cameras on Ben Hill Road.
I mean,
a lot of them was turned in.
I know. I would just love to, And
the reason I turned mine in, I didn't even know they was looking for footage. And when they were showing me pictures and want me to identify people that was on Thompson's camera, that's when I'm like, well, I've got cameras too,
Mm-hmm.
But whether Richard Goley turned his in or not, I don't know. I don't know if Ed Redmond turned his in. I don't know if Tony Light turned his in. But I know that they all had cameras. I know that one camera on Simpson Loop or Simpson Lane was turned in.
Yeah, that comes up in a second.
Overbay's property.
That comes up in a second about that camera and about the other YouTuber who had seen some footage themselves. That comes up, and they've already spoke out, so I think that's okay to play in this call. But yeah, I don't know. I would have thought by now there would have been some kind of footage that would have leaked in some ways, but it sucks. I can't believe here we are, like almost 5 years later, and still nothing.
I mean, law enforcement ain't gonna release it.
I know, but yeah. It just sucks because I don't know, we're one of the ones that have to suffer the most out of anybody, honestly. Because people like to, make Fred the scapegoat, and out of anybody, we're going to want this to be solved the most. Because obviously, a lot of other people, for some reason, don't want the truth to get out. This not being solved negatively affects our fucking life, dude. I know, I put myself in this position, but it's just the truth, though. So, it is what it is.
On the road, he was almost to the back end of the hollow, way past his driveway and stuff that day.
Yeah. What'd you say, Jason? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What did Andy drive his car back then?
He was in a silver Kia Soul.
Okay, so he had a Kia Soul.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully this will be
And
okay for me to leave this for a second.
So Fred lived way at the
Let's
back
see,
of
what
the
minute
hall.
are we at?
I lived second to the last
102.
place.
I don't have to fast forward until I get to a minute and 30.
So that's like about, I don't know, a half mile down the road from Dawn and you know, actually, Andy, you can't see Andy and Jody Sue's driveway from Dawn Wells either, to be fair, but their property is right across the street, like their acreage, you know, their land.
See, they was that incident with Jackie Dobbs there, and Andy and Jody and Dawn and them on the 14th, and then they was trying to get Dobbs to get that motel, Jody and Andy was, in Baileyton.
Yep, right over there where the search is.
See, Jackie Dobbs didn't get it in Baileyton. He got it in Church Hill. But that night they went searching motels in Baileyton and stuff, looking for Dobbs. Why search and look roads and stuff looking for Dobbs when he's not even on your property or nothing now? That's what it makes sense to me.
Yeah. That was the 14th, though.
Yeah, the evening of the 14th.
So there's a lot of weird stuff around Andy Bernard, and for sure. And we know he's involved. We know it, and it's scary. We just want this stuff to be over with. It's like,
well, we don't know 100%.
I know, but it's still scary because it's getting more and more scary the further it goes on, because it seems like a huge group of people, you know, and they're, I don't know.
Right, and the stinking internet's full of trolls.
Yeah, we're used to. Thankfully, Fred's like had the perfect. He was the perfect. God chose the perfect person to be put in his situation, because it doesn't bother him. It doesn't get to him. I mean, when you know your truth, you know, and you know that you're being honest, and you stay, as long as you do the next right thing, and he doesn't have anything to worry about, so we don't stress about it.
And then you got Jody, mom, that had that Toyota Tacoma too, that when I was recording that first day talking.
I don't know anything about a main road with a red light. With a red to go. You know, you can't even get, like, it's really crazy, but it is like the olden times back there. I'm not even joking. I know it's hard to believe, but it's like really almost like, I don't know, it's pretty deep. It's like being in the deep Appalachian in a way. There is no, you can't get like phone service. And a lot of people don't have, like, even internet out there. Just like how Fred was saying he would drive to Glenda's sometimes to use the Wi-Fi. Like, it was few and far. You could not get phone service. So, like, he's having to drive to certain areas to get onto the Wi-Fi so he could send a message, because there's no cell service out there. People don't understand. It's crazy. It is. It really is. And that's why when those bones were found, we couldn't call right then and there. There was this landline up at Fred's, like, mom's, but I didn't know that at the time, but it's always tapped. It's weird. It's like almost like a party line. It's crazy. I'm not even joking. But I didn't know that at the time, and so I just volunteered myself. I was leaving, like, I was going to go I turned it in. As soon as I got service, I turned it in. Then I told Fred. Fred knew I was going to do that. And he was there waiting for the people when they got there. Sent time in the hollers of Kentucky. Yeah, no phone service. You have to go down the road and send the parking lot to get a signal. People don't believe it. So, yeah, it's crazy.
About how they gonna find it when it ain't got the ladder rack on it no more?
Yep. Fred recorded Jody Sue saying that. So he got Jody Sue on recording, Dawn on recording.
I got a little bit of Dawn, mostly Jody Sue, Andy, and their daughter. I got their son just a little bit, not much. Only thing I got him on recording is asking Jody where to put the camera up, because evidently they didn't have cameras. They put a camera up on the 15th night after someone went missing, because he walked down the hill and asked Jody where to put it, and she told him right there on that big pine on the right-hand side of the driveway. It's like 2 trees up or something other. And then he disappeared and never seen him no more.
And Andy Bernard left a few days after Summer went missing.
Yeah.
His last day of work at Hayworth Tire was the day Summer went missing. Never went back to that job. Works a train ride in outside of Knoxville, supposedly.
But see, the daughter on the 16th is one that come up to Jody and said something to her about, when I was recording, that Andy told her that he had seen Summer's dead body, and then Andy wasn't standing there. He was standing across behind us next to his vehicle, doing something at the vehicle, and Jody hollered at him, and he come over and she said, "What's this? You supposed to see Summer's dead body?" He said, "Oh, that was just a dream I had." Tried to play it off like it was a dream.
Mm-hmm. He got his daughter all worked up and scared over that.
He was out on recording for law enforcement.
Yep. He said stuff, got his daughter scared. A child goes missing right next door, and he's telling his young daughter, 14 years old probably at the time, "Oh yeah, I saw Summer's dead body, and they're never going to find her," or something is what he said.
Oh, no, he didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry.
Oh, God.
No. She just said that he had told her that he had seen her dead body, Then Jody asked Andy about it, and he played it off like it was a dream that he had.
And then she asked
him, when did he see her Summer last, and he said, "Well, I seen her the 14th night when I was over there, but I didn't see her the 15th when I was over there earlier." And this was on the 16th when I was recording. When he said that,
But now he denies even.
Yeah, he tries to say all different kinds of stuff now. But.
He tried to say the cameras. Okay, so this is his excuses for being on the road. He's had several that he wasn't.
Once the law enforcement actually said, "Hey, look, here's pictures of you on the road on 15." Then he takes that and tries to say, "Oh, it was the 14th. The camera dates is wrong." Camera dates ain't wrong on 6 different cameras.
What was he?
Oh, gosh. Is Dobbs' second uncle related to John Smith's side? I don't know, but you know what? I was looking into that, that weird, I think that maybe Dee's True Crime put out something about it recently. It came up again. That IMBD, like Treat Tony, like movie stuff, and the, whatever it was, Feet Fables, And the guy's name was like Joel Peter Brown. Which is weird because isn't, Jody Sue's dad's name something like that? I don't know, not Jewel, but anyways, it's not him. I found a website with this guy's picture on it of whoever owns that was making those movies and stuff. I was going to talk about it today, but then I thought, well, let's maybe. I came across this recording and I thought maybe this would be okay to play. I thought it would be interesting for some to hear, even though a lot of it's going to be like stuff you've heard before, but I don't know. Isn't because cousin to Jody? I don't know. I haven't heard that. I don't know what you're saying, though, for sure, Julia.
But what was he saying there the day of, though? Because that's what he was saying after. Or was he trying to say it was the 14th on the day of?
No, he just tried to deny being on the road by the law enforcement. He took in, when they asked him, he was like, I can't even remember what I drove today and stuff. He tried to stay play dumb, you know. And then he don't even know what vehicle he drove that day and this and this. And then they're like, well, right here you are on this camera at this time.
Yeah, the date that matters.
Yeah.
That was Andy Bernard.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
and his dad, too. Tell him about his dad.
It kind of makes him a suspect.
Yeah, tell him about his dad.
Well, I mean, when I came back from Kingsport and pull up to Ben Hill, and the holler shut down and stuff, the first person come up and talk to me was George Bernard, which is Andy's dad. And I hadn't seen him around Ben Hill since.
I'll probably edit that out of
from 125.
The video.
Since you were a child.
Yeah, since I was a child.
The
but
address.
It was just odd that he was already there. And then see, you got Andy and Jody that hung out at the bottom of her driveway and wouldn't.
Sorry about that. I'll edit out that address.
For almost 3 days until Andy took off and never come back to Ben Hill on the 18th.
Yep. And he didn't go to YouTube and start his, he would not talk to anybody for the longest time. But then he started coming around just like freaking Fred's sister around 2023 coming out.
After I went to jail.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, everybody started coming out when Fred went to jail. They were really trying to keep Fred in jail. And let me tell you, Fred's out date was in December, and this was for dealing, December of 2023. Yeah. And
does Fred know of a woman in Hawkins that allegedly 3 different jobs, because it's such a small town, and I think it was mentioned she knew about NDA. What about NDA? I don't know what that means.
Oh, no.
No. Knew about what NDA? You mean like the NDA that Don and Candace had for people going up there? It really wasn't a big deal. If that's what you mean. Because, I know that for a fact because they had me freaking sign one when I got the puppy. And it was just like literally a piece of paper that had a paragraph written out at the top about, not filming anything or talking about anything that you saw while you were up there, pretty much. And it had like a bunch of lines at the bottom and a bunch of different signatures. And I didn't try to freaking be nosy and pay attention. I just freaking assigned the thing.
I didn't know nothing about no NBAs myself.
NBAs is NDAs.
Whatever it's called. One thing I know was Richard Goley was talking about, somebody was talking to him about they was going to try to make a movie or something about someone. He was talking about that. But that's the only thing I know about that.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time before they get that knock on the door. Then what are you going to do when they come for you? I know. I hope. I really do. I just want this to be over with so bad. So, yeah. But, yeah, it didn't mean you just couldn't talk. It wasn't really a big deal. And for me, anyways, since I was only up there for like a couple minutes, I did not feel comfortable up there. So I hurried. I wasn't even expecting to have to go up there. I thought that like maybe they would meet at the bottom of the driveway or something. But that's not how it happened. So anyways, for me, yeah, it wasn't anything like I spent like a significant amount of time there. And nothing happened really weird anyways while I was there. And I honestly, my memory is so bad, I don't even freaking like remember so much about it. I mean, it was very short-lived.
and he was supposed to go to a halfway house. He had to sit there till February 6th, 2 days after Summer's birthday, they sent him to Knoxville, of all places, where Andy and Don were going and doing their, both of them would go there
allegedly
for their drugs, and together, and they sent Fred to that a halfway house in Knoxville, of all places, in February. He has to sit in jail for 2 extra months. He could have gone at any time. Like, he couldn't go out. They wouldn't let him out of jail until he was in a halfway house. And so it was almost like they sent him to the specific halfway house on purpose, because a week before Fred got there, this guy named DJ Smith, which Andy's kin on his mom's side is Smith, but we don't know if he's related. His name is DJ Smith, Dennis something Smith. Joseph Dennis,
I really doubt that he's related. Like that, I would really doubt. I think that's just it. Smith is a very common last name. Yeah, I started looking into that whole thing today at Fee Fables and stuff, and I actually found the guy who it is, and where he has an actual picture up, and he's a real person. I thought it was somebody using like some kind of fake name and trying to be weird with the name, because Judy Sue's dad, her dad's name is something similar. Not Jewel, but I don't want to like dox him. He's deceased now, but it was something similar. And so I thought it was somebody just, there's a lot of sickos out there for some reason putting up all these weird websites on Summer Wells that say she's deceased and stuff, and oh no, Fred's name wouldn't have been referred to in an NDA because he wasn't ever up on the Wells property, like in that, I don't know. He was only there, I think, right after Summer went missing. I mean, he was a neighbor. Like, it wasn't weird. Well, I don't even know. I don't want to say, like, how many. I don't think he would have been there any time after. Oh, except when he was recording that time. He tried to go up there.
No, but Fred, he overheard Fred talking about Summer Wells to me on the phone. He comes up to Fred, and do you want to tell him like a little bit about that?
He just talk like he knew where Summer was exactly and stuff, and I tried to get me some actual footage of her, but only thing he got was some voice clips and stuff of supposedly of a little girl talking about Dawn and stuff, and
which you don't have, do you? Because that
they took that when I took and they dipped my phone.
But
they extracted that off of it.
But the guy knew Fred was going to
turn and I was in Indiana and he was in Tennessee, and Fred's horrible with technology.
And he claimed to know Dawn's
conversations and
he claimed it was Dawn and Andy's drug dealer, and it was a drug debt, and that, like a bunch of shit, a bunch of like, and he was interested in the reward money though, and Fred's like, what is that? Somebody taking pictures again?
Oh my god.
Somebody just stopped our driveway. People are always out there taking pictures and freaking recording. I'm serious.
America, you're nowhere near Tennessee.
Yeah, we're 5.5 hours away, but like
we're in Shelbyville, Indiana now.
But I know that there's a lot of them that have family up here. I don't know. I do YouTube, and I don't know. No pictures have gone out on YouTube yet, but we've been keeping recordings and stuff. I had my window broken out too. I never had that kind of stuff happen. I don't have enemies like that. I'm a hermit, so.
You're a hermit. That's funny.
Yeah,
only time she leaves the house is walk to a little gas station about 4 blocks away and back.
Yeah.
That's the only time she leaves, period.
Yeah, I walk there several times a day though, but just to get my exercise. But which I am starting to get like a little freaking scared a little bit.
Because on YouTube sometimes in chat and stuff, certain ones will come in and say they see us going down a certain street or this or that.
Well, some pictures of us, or they one time sent me a picture of my house. Like it's they're just freaking. But Fred's gonna go outside to smoke. I guess I can let you go if there's nothing else. But you can always text us or call us if there's anything I don't know what you can't practice in Tennessee, so
I can't do anything like official.
Yeah, so you can't. I don't know if you're allowed to reach out to us or not, but just to talk.
Me to talk to you. I mean, people can make friends and whatnot.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If you ever want to talk the case again, just conversate. wink. Then, you save our number because there's so much, and I don't know. There might be something that Fred could help fill in that might help.
Right. Okay.
So, I
am curious about that motorcycle incident more than anything.
Yeah. I'm really nervous about that motorcycle, like what that whole thing was. I can send you, it'd be easier to send it on Facebook Messenger, the conversation between Fred and that woman who contacted him a couple nights ago. Or yesterday? A couple nights ago that we turned in?
We turned in the tip yesterday, 20 seconds at 10:53 when we turned in the tip.
Yeah, and how she was acting weird. At first, she tried to act like what is Fred talking about? That never happened. That he knows that him and her husband don't get along, and that he would never stop, or Fred would never stop there and stuff. And then she tries to turn around and pull on Andy and say, "Oh, that was the 13th," because she knows that she watches YouTube. She's big on YouTube, so she knows what days to say. Because the 14th was when Fred, he has put out there many times, he was sleeping all day on the 14th. Yeah, so he was not out and about, and she knows that. So that's why she said, "Oh, that was the 13th." Well, and then Fred goes, "Did you turn in the surveillance?"
Because just one day I hauled that bike to Kingsport, and then when I came back from Kingsport, I picked up another bike and had it on the trailer when I came in, and they done had the road shut down for summer. That's the only day I hauled the bike. So
yeah, so that's how he remembers. It was definitely the 15th, and we've talked about it a bunch over the years, so it's kind of hard to mix up that day. But
just the way you talk,
Yeah, and just either way, let's say it was the 13th. It's, Fred was like, "Okay, well, did you send it in?" Well, she goes, "I talked to law enforcement." She kept saying, I told them everything. No, we're like, "Did you send in their surveillance?"
Because I know they got surveillance there.
Yeah, they have surveillance. Did you send in that? And it was a gold Lexus. It was two guys. And it was how old were they?
They was probably in their 20s or something.
Both of them were in their 20s?
Middle 20s or something.
Okay.
But the one with the bike, he looked like he was part Mexican probably. Had dark brown hair, had like shoulder length hair, all of the same length, but he had like the front kind of pulled back up on top in a ponytail kind of.
Yeah.
The one that actually owned the bike.
Now, Fred saw a lot of things that day and was in and out around like very important times. And so, yeah.
Certain people at certain places that
he saw Andy again at Zoomers too at 5:30.
Roughly between 5:30 and 5:40, getting gas on the 15th after he had left from Ben Hill. So.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? These people want to act like Fred is just, all these experiences didn't happen. They're just completely made up. Every single one of them, they want to say, like every single time they want to say that.
So Zoomers, they'd have Andy on camera there too. I don't know why they haven't. According to Andy, he hasn't heard. They didn't question him at all. They're not.
Which is weird because in one interview, Andy's saying they questioned him like several times, you know, and then another interview, he's saying he didn't get questioned at all, like hardly at all. Haven't you guys heard that? Like literally, he's answered that question completely different. Like to Chris McDonough, he wasn't that the one he was telling me he had been questioned many times and. But, like, on my panel, I'm pretty sure he was saying he hadn't hardly been questioned at all. Oh, thank you for that. I don't know how you were able to send that.
But see, Jody,
I changed my Cash App. I'm not sure how you were able to send that. That's weird. It changed it to... Why did it get changed to... I changed it so people couldn't send it.
But they want to talk... Jody and them want
to... But yeah, send it to my new Cash App, which was on a Fred's next time. But thank you so much. I didn't know that was even still accepting money. Huh?
But Jody wants to talk about they was questioned by the FBI and stuff and feds. I've never been questioned by the feds or the FBI. The only ones that took a statement was Hawkins County and the TBI, just that one time. But
yeah, this one says our
questioned many times by them.
This is our new Cash App, guys. The Fred 33491.
But like Jody was talking about when they was out. Mm-hmm. In town getting food for everybody. She's talking about everybody, but when Damien had called her and told her that the feds was there and they had to hurry and get back, question them.
Yeah. But isn't it weird though? He at other places though he acted like he wasn't questioned at all. Let's see, 118.
Prepare yourself for something truly cataclysmic coming to Hearthstone.
It's stupid ad just played because I accidentally closed out the app.
You know?
Yeah, I didn't know people were able to still send it to my old Cash App. I literally thought I closed it out.
Try to act like and that's why I gave Pruitt a hard time. I'm like, why aren't you freaking questioning? He was on the road. He hung up on me, by the way. I put that call out like a few months after it happened. I wanted to give him time to work on the information. But because I know that they can't talk. I know there's a gag order. They've told it. So I think he was afraid of of saying the wrong thing.
I think when he slipped up and said, yeah, Andy was on the road prior to, then he's like almost hung up almost immediately, like he slipped up, you know.
Yeah, he did confirm, like, yes, well, Andy was on the road. Yes, what did he say? Andy was on the right road prior to, but what we're mostly interested in is this blue truck you're talking about. Do you know who was driving? I'm like, we told you, or I say we because Fred told you years ago. He didn't know, and you guys have it on camera, and the windows were so tinted. All he could see was two figures.
Two figure people, but you couldn't tell who they was or nothing because the side windows and back window. I mean, it was blacked out. Only thing when they was coming towards you, you could see through the truck that there was two people in it, but you couldn't tell who it was.
And Fred's really good. He's always worked on cars and stuff, and so he knows it was about a 2000 and.
I seen 2006 model way it looked.
But it was very nice.
Yeah.
This kind of makes me have a question. You submitted this information from cameras, right? So there were like pictures or video of these vehicles.
Yes, from Ben Hill they are.
Yep.
But you don't have them anymore because you gave those images to law enforcement.
Yeah, see, when they took and had the SD cards copied, and then they gave them back to me.
But they were stolen, remember?
Yeah, they were stolen after that, though.
When Fred was in jail in 2023, and that's what we were saying. That's what we were saying, that we think that Karen stole them because she was posting things on freaking YouTube.
Allegedly. Because that is just hearsay. But we did see her going through Fred's stuff on YouTube. And it's quite weird that those just, I mean, I don't know who else would have taken them.
Pilfering through his stuff and like going through it. She had no, I mean, that was trespassing because Fred was a tenant of that property, no matter if it was their parents and their parents' name. She had no right to go in there and do all that. But yeah, she was in there when Fred was in jail, going through everything, video and trying to like pretend that she was finding like stuff and like bones and crazy stuff. Like it was all.
You didn't keep a copy of those the images of those vehicles.
What was that?
You didn't keep a copy of those images of those vehicles.
You didn't keep a copy of the images?
No. I had the SD cards that they was on and had them put up in a bag, and they got gone when I went to jail.
Not only that, he didn't get even his phone back or anything. He lost it all. Like, all his electronics was gone. He didn't have any, I mean, it was all, from my understanding, right? It was all, lost all your stuff. Didn't you lose all your stuff?
Well, my phone that I had at that time got gone when I went to jail and stuff. When Laura went to jail too.
So you don't even have the
Glenda Head and Pete Clark and them. Her whole pocketbook got stolen when she went to jail. Had my phone and her phone and all my bank cards, her bank cards, all that.
Yeah, so any pictures he did have or anything like that,
That's
gone.
My old Gmail got canceled and stuff. That had a lot of photos on it.
Yeah.
It got stolen. But see, my issue was...
But there's people that do have them. There's tons of people that have surveillance of this. I mean, there's others. Thompson's, we know, turned in cameras.
But see, my issue was when I was worried about the communication between Hawkins County, the officers I worked with, and TBI, because they didn't want TBI involved at first from day one. And see, I was kind of curious if they even turned the footage over. Hawkins County turned it over to TBI. That's why we contacted the TBI about the truck and reintroduced that, because I was concerned maybe they didn't even share that photos and stuff of the SD cards from Ben Hill with the TBI. That was just my big concern at the time.
And there also was
there's a lot of miscommunication between Hawkins County and them.
There's a creator named When Evil Entered that she seems like, I mean, I've been around for some years. She seems like a pretty good person, honest person from what I've can tell. She claims that she saw footage earlier on in the case of Andy on the road from a neighbor off of Simpson. Is that road? Simpson Lane?
Simpson Lane.
Off of Ben Hill, which the only way you can get to that is Ben Hill Road. It's it's a road you have to get to off of Ben Hill Road. And she claimed she claims that she saw Andy. What time did she say? 3:37?
Yeah, she said
around 3:37 or something. And then in the time that Fred remembers seeing on the still shot that they showed him was 3:47. When it was like Andy was like driving around there, back there, almost like he was looking for that truck or something, that blue truck that came in first. And it was sitting back there for a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like it was waiting.
Back there probably
30, 40 minutes, I guess it was, before he followed Andy out, before Andy went in and he followed Andy back out.
Yeah.
But see, there's a lot of stuff with Hawkins County that they kind of dropped the ball on at first, I believe, because just like on the 17th when they wanted me to go and try to record Dawn, the two officers that I was working with that was having me to record, which was Nate Simpson and Gary Lawson, see, they took the wells some alcohol and wanted me wait 45 minutes before I went and recorded on the 17th. And I think that made a big issue in the case too. And then they was no longer allowed to go back to the wells or have nothing to do with it. And see, that's the two officers that I was actually recording for.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, we're assuming that has to do with that alcohol that they gave.
Yeah,
and plus, the day there was a weird thing that happened to Fred. Here, let's go inside it so there's no background noise. There was a weird thing that happened to Fred while recording. Was that the last day?
Yeah, that was when I was trying to record Dawn when they took that alcohol and stuff down there. But when they took the alcohol down there and give it to them, Dawn was gone at the time, and they handed it to Candace because Dawn didn't pull up to like a minute after I got down there to record, and I was recording Dawn and stuff, and then or trying to, and about a minute into the recording, there's a light comes over the device and stuff, and I just pretty much shut it down. I tried to play it off like it was my phone at the time.
That had to have been some kind of like I don't know, some kind of frequency like interference or something. That had to have been. Because they have to use like weird. Because if they were listening to that shit live, you know what I mean? They would have had to have been using like some kind of like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi service. Because law enforcement was listening live. You know, because they heard this too at the same time. So they had to have been tapped into like the recorder somehow and being able to hear it at the same time, like, you know, Fred was recording. Because they came up the driveway to check on Fred as he was walking away, as he talks about right here, like he started to walk away because that kind of like freaked him out and pissed him off. I don't know if it'd be a phone company. It would be like through some kind of, it'd have to be through Google probably, and somehow that account got deleted. So yeah, it's a huge nightmare. You know how you have to sign into these like Google accounts when you have an Android? That account that he had has got deleted somehow. And he doesn't know how it was deleted. But the main thing is those SD cards, you know, that disappeared.
I thought the law enforcement done something to let Dawn know that I was recording, which kind of pissed me off. And then I just shut it down and start back off the driveway, and they're started up the driveway to try to see what happened.
They were listening live at the time, I guess, because they claimed it was a laugh. Like Fred was sitting there talking to Dawn, and here's
it was loud. It was.
Fred had to play that off, like what the fuck, you know what I mean? He was pissed. It was just a regular recorder, so that's been a big freaking like mystery since.
Now they couldn't figure out how it would even interfere or whatever, or where it even came from.
Right.
So they met Fred going up the driveway.
Yeah, I was coming back off, and they had made it probably 75 feet up the driveway when I seen them, and they just stopped and waited on me to walk on down there. I guess keeping on seeing them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of strange stuff in this case, seem like.
Just gets crazier and crazier.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. We want it to be over. We just want this to be over. I
want
want to move
her to
on.
get her justice and justice she deserves.
I want to be off YouTube. I want to, but I can't. I can't stop until we get answers. I just can't because they're making Fred this. Well, I'm not going to allow them to make him the freaking scapegoat. Fred is a very good, amazing person. Has helped so much. Like, it's crazy how much this has affected his life, and like we feel like the law enforcement has used him without his knowledge, even, and like, which he would have been more than happy to help, but of course, like, I guess they weren't going to tell him that they're going to keep him for 2 extra months in jail so they can wait till this one person goes there.
Yeah, at the very least, law enforcement should have him, Annie, right? No, it was an actual recording device, redacted static. They gave him an actual device to use. It wasn't a cell phone, it was an actual recording device. It looked like a normal recorder, though, but somehow they had to have been able to listen to it live. Because they heard that whole situation that happened with the whole laugh thing, which just that had to have been some kind of like, I mean, I don't know. They don't have like very good Wi-Fi and that shit. They had to have. I don't know how they would have. I don't know how they would have done that. Some type of Bluetooth or something, I guess. But yeah, at the very least, law enforcement should have those SD cards, and that's what's most important. They should, but I just hope that there's nothing weird going on, and hopefully, they're safe. Was it a digital recorder, Fred? Yeah, he's pretty sure it was.
Dealt with. Yeah, we're assuming, but that was happens after all this stuff that's happened. He's been the one that's seen Andy on the road. He's the one, he's the one to help law enforcement the most that we know of. Huh?
He didn't take no kind of disc or nothing like that.
It didn't take any type of it didn't have any cassette in it or anything like that he could tell, or any type of disc or.
He tried to get Don to talk.
Yeah, but you and Don didn't have like a close relationship.
I may have talked to Don 15 times since he had actually lived in the area when Summer went.
Yeah, because they were into different drugs and stuff.
See, the last time I actually seen Summer was probably 3 weeks or something before she actually went missing, and she was in a swimming pool with Damien Bernard, which is Jody Sue and Andy's son.
Who was like night.
Oh, listen up. Here's the swimming pool story. Maybe we should rewind it a couple
weeks or something before she actually went missing, and she was in a swimming pool with Damien Bernard, which is Jody Sue and Andy's son.
Who was like 19 at the time. A little kiddie swimming pool with Summer. Just sitting there out there by themselves when Fred walks up there.
Well, I didn't walk up. I drove up there going to ask Don if he might have a gallon of gas I could borrow to make sure I made it to Kingsport because I was about out of gas. And when I got up there, Don wasn't there or nothing. It was just Candace come out of the house, and the boys come out of the house. But Summer and Damien was in the pool together. Damien was just sitting in the pool with his arms out on the side, and then Summer was in front of him, just dancing around in the pool, splashing. And that's almost where the burn or that for sale barrel was set. And that's what me and the law enforcement discussed too. I was telling them when last time I'd seen Summer, they're like, there's no swimming pool up there now, though. I'm like, well, it was when 3 weeks ago, you know.
Yeah. So, and that's Andy Bernard's son, and which
the one that they shipped to the military.
This would be Andy. Okay, so that would be considered your, I don't know, a cousin, or, and you had no idea. Nobody knew this kid's name. Nobody knew it was Damien. Everybody called him like
Drew. That's the only thing the family knew him as was Drew.
Yeah. So, this name Damien coming up is like what? We didn't. Well, Fred didn't know that.
I mean, a lot of us family.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward through a little bit here about.
Young child.
Well, I can imagine there's
things leading to there's
Well, just like,
knowing about some of the people around there. Fred saw some certain people that day when he went and sold some drugs, and also he saw certain characters that have came up, and he saw.
I mean, I could vouch for where certain people was that day and stuff like that, you know,
like,
at certain times.
Certain ones, but that doesn't mean anything, you know, really, because who knows? We don't know exactly what happened.
Or what exact time it happened.
It is weird with that motorcycle being broken down at that time that it was.
Yeah.
That is a weird time. That's right at the crucial time. You know, Andy being on the road at 3:47, and then Fred going out of there shortly after that. And then he goes off. You turn right out of Ben Hill.
Yeah, turn right.
And how far down? It was Tim Shipley's driveway.
It's a mile from Ben Hill to the Hawkinsville County line. Then it's about another half mile, about a mile and a half to where that motorcycle was at on the side of the road.
And then,
but see, he did it. Told me that he found it. And it had been somebody had stole it, and he had found it there around the creek. But he never told me where. But Tabitha,
his
night
wife,
before, she said that they told him, her and her husband, that they found it on Ben Hill Road. So I figured it might have been a revenge type deal or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because the guy was saying that motorcycle, my motorcycle's my baby girl or something, my little girl.
Yeah, something about it was like his baby girl or.
How would they like if their baby girl, you know, something like that, some kind of weird comment.
Yeah.
And Fred's always told me about that comment and stuff. Like, I mean, there's certain details. Like, obviously, at first, like when we first met, like he wasn't going to tell me, of course, that he recorded.
No, I mean, like
of course, he wasn't going to show me. He when he had those cameras, the stuff about. Like, that stuff, like, me and Fred didn't really start talking until 2023, like, all the time. Before that, it was sporadically, so he didn't know me well to just, like, be like, oh, hey, here, I got footage, you know, or, God, I wish it would have came, like, we did, I wish now, like, we would, like, we could have got that footage recorded somewhere or something. I've never seen it.
That's just like the dark blue truck. When you first
so I didn't know that you recorded for law enforcement at first.
I didn't know whether I was able to say, oh, yeah, it was this type truck. I tried to play it like, well, he was a dark colored truck, and I can't remember specifically to the life of me what.
Yeah, I was a stranger to him.
Because I didn't know if it was valuable to the case or not at that time, and you done told me you was recording me, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I let him know, and Fred, he was so helpful, like, I'm like, I don't know, it's because people are scared of Fred because of the incident where he shot Roy Fanning.
Oh my
there
God.
was a man that came out there who mistook Fred for, thought it was Fred's uncle, which is Paul Hill's brother, James Hill, who's another wealthy businessman in the area, and, yeah, he's deceased now. But this was in 2016, and I put the video up on my wall on YouTube, like the news clip. But this guy came in there like drunk late at night, and he was shooting a bunch of clips. Like, can you tell him a little bit so I don't get wrong?
He probably pulled 10,000 rounds off in the holler that night before the incident happened. That was like 10 something that night, and then he leaves out and then comes back like when the shooting between me and him happened, it was like 10 after 12 at night or whatever.
And you confronted him because, right?
Yeah, he had pulled up in the driveway and stuff at the bottom, and I just put the spotlight on him. Well, not a spotlight, flashlight, and he took and threatened me, had a gun out and stuff, and he shot in the air, and then I don't know why I even told him. I don't even know why I even said it. I said, well, I've got a gun too. And when I said that, he said, let's fucking play then. And he just opens up on me, starts running backwards, and tries to tuck him by the side of his truck. And when he done that, on the 11th round, he took and paused. And when he paused, that's when I shot him in the neck. But
he lived.
Yeah, they had to send him to Kentucky to get the bullet and stuff out, but he actually survived it.
And
it was ruled as self-defense and all that.
Yeah, Fred didn't get any charges or anything from it, but Fred's never gone out trying to get trouble. He's just not that kind of trouble. Always comes in. People are always messing with him because they think he is like he is a nice guy, you know. They think of him as soft in the drug game a little bit, but because he's a good person, but he's not. I mean, you don't mess with it. He's got a quiet.
Two neighbors was already on vacation.
He is a good person. But yeah, if you go causing, you know, don't start no stuff, won't be no stuff, right? We don't bother anybody. We just stay to ourselves more like it. Is what how I see him, and that's how I think I saw him then too.
One of them had left like a week before that incident when I shot Roy, and then one had left that evening to go to visit. It was about this time of year for Thanksgiving, and then they asked me to kind of watch over the property. That's why I was kind of watching everybody that come in and out and stuff by there at that time. That's what made me notice him more. And then he pulls in acting suspicious and then been shooting all up down the holler and stuff. And then it didn't end well.
Nope.
So that obviously, and then the Fred's arrest in Virginia that had to do with a gun. That also was Fred was arrested until his 30s, 35. But we're glad. I mean, now it's a blessing in disguise for everything that he got arrested. They were telling him, like Gary Lawson was telling Fred, like, "Oh, we won't bust you," or like what he said. We won't bust you, because he's the head of the drug task force.
Yeah, he was actually one of my reporters.
And he even said, because Fred was giving, you know, he was very open with it. He knew what was on his phone when he was letting him download it and stuff. He knew that there was drug stuff on there.
Because they downloaded my phone on the 15th.
Yeah, and
they done a lot. Supposed to have downloaded everybody's phone on Ben Hill Road that had a cell phone.
Yeah, Andy claims that they didn't do his. That's what he claimed.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what he says, like.
But I don't know if they did his or not. I know they're supposed to. The only one that lived in there.
Just a little bit more, 10 more, about 13 more minutes or so. Finally getting to about the end. We talked this guy's poor ear off. But like I said, I was hopeful that he might have been able to do something, but I didn't realize until this call that he really didn't have he wasn't able to. Like, he could actually get in trouble if he started investigating it. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. But yeah, he has to be, since he's considered a private investigator, like an actual licensed one, he can't actually even, he has to be licensed to even investigate anything. And he's not licensed in Tennessee. He has to be licensed in that state, which is crazy because anybody else could, and you know, it's weird. It is weird. Like, when you look at it from that, his viewpoint there, like me and you can sit there and look into things, but if he does it, it's somehow like a crime. It's kind of crazy. Do you have something you want to add in?
It is hard for me to believe that if they didn't download Andy's phone, which I believe Andy's lying about that, because, I mean, just people that was even on camera, on my cameras and stuff, and Thompson camera, like Chad and Haskell and a bunch of others, they had to take their phones in too. And the only one that didn't was Haskell. I don't know why, but that was the only one that they had an issue of trying to get, from what I understood.
Did Haskell really even have a phone?
Yeah, he always has one.
I do have a conversation with him, guys. I don't know if you guys, I don't know. If I never even listened to it, so I don't even know what's on it really. But
I thought you posted it before.
No, I only posted a clip out of it because I didn't want to put him out there like that. Because he didn't know about it. I only put a little clip out of it that I thought.
It's on your TikTok, isn't it?
Yeah, I put a clip out, like a 30-second clip or something. I think that's about it. What I thought was, and was just, I found it, like, because I honestly felt sorry for him because he got emotional about being accused of being involved with Summer Wells. He was like really upset about it, and so I just thought it was important people heard because it was real emotion. But the rest of it, like I haven't even listened to it. What it like the main thing I was trying to do was talk to Chad Arnold. That's what mostly I think.
When you got that recording, it was when you and him was trying to find Chad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When you went to the river.
Mm-hmm. And I have a conversation with Chad Arnold's mom, but I don't know if it's like really. I mean, nothing in it's like bad or anything like that at all, actually. Except there is a lot of like talk about.
I mean, it's mostly about Jason instead of Summer.
Yeah, but it's also a lot about like how she believes in that, law enforcement's corrupt and Hawkins and all that, and and I don't know if I want to get into all that stuff again. I don't know if I can handle that right now. Take on that fight about the corruption in Hawkins County. I'll have to listen to it back and see. Like, I don't want anybody to feel like, I don't know. Because this is what happens every time we do is these people, then go and harass the people that we talk to, and then they make them think like they turn it into something a lot different most of the time. Than what I attended.
That supposedly didn't let them get their phone was Haskell Rhines. That was supposed to probably isn't in. That's the only one I know of that.
I've talked and interviewed him too. He cried to me because he was like he was crying to me saying, I don't know why Don was naming a lot of people, but he was drunk and crying to me like because his name got brought up in the case and stuff. But I mean he's been involved with some shady dealings. He has, so it's like
Then you got some
I mean, I honestly couldn't blame them. Like, nobody wants to be brought up in a children's case. People are doing this stuff behind the scenes. They have something to hide. The fact that they're doing all this only proves it. Yeah.
fenders and stuff, and lives around there and all that too.
Oh
yeah. And it comes, they want to like play it off like Jody Sue and them want to play it off like Fred's a snitch because he recorded for law enforcement in this case. It's like, hello, it has to do with a missing child. You know, everything gets said when it involves a child. You know what I mean? That's not snitching. That's it's completely different.
That's right. The little kid's life's on the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it comes to drugs, though, Fred even told the police, he's like, I'll help you guys with this for Summer Wells, anything I can help with, but, you know, anything else, like, don't even ask.
Yeah.
But see, I rode with them for several days there, showing them where septic tanks was that I knew of in the area, wells, old houses, abandoned houses and stuff, any house, any pond, anything that they could have took her to if she was deceased, or if somebody had kidnapped her that could have been hiding her in an old abandoned place somewhere. I mean, we rode around everywhere showing them kicking doors. Well, they were kicking doors in.
Showing moves and you're open book. Well, that's good.
No, he's always been like that on YouTube, and that's why it doesn't really make sense. Like,
I mean, just like they didn't even, on the first night, they didn't even know that Don Wells owned that bottom property joining Beach Creek where the shed and stuff was, and there was 2 wells there. You see, they didn't even know nothing about Don owning it or nothing.
So they were pretty pissed about that because Don hadn't mentioned anything about that bottom property, which was weird.
That is.
Yeah. So Fred made him aware about Andy Bernard's properties too, because Andy was saying he was going to go out there.
Well, on the evening of the 15th, when I was recording him, he spoke about being at that property earlier that day, the Fields Road property.
Yeah, and which was weird. You found that strange because he claimed he hadn't been there. And he said there was. Oh, he goes.
He was talking about there wasn't no road back to it no more and stuff. He just realized on that day that they had put a gate up and stuff.
And it was like, so you didn't notice that they had it like that for, you said, well over
a year that I knowed of, and you just now going down there on the 15th, look, supposedly, he went down there supposedly look for Summer, and then you got on that same piece of property that he went to that day that EquiSearch supposedly found disturbed ground like something had been moved at the left back corner of the barn, and between the barn and house, you see.
Yep. Yep.
So, I don't know.
And I was in contact with I still have, she's not with EquiSearch anymore, but she used to be, and she trusted me because I never, if somebody tells me not to say anything, like, I'm not going to risk screwing up anything with his case. I want this over with. Now, I put certain things out because it's like a strategy of mine. I've been afraid that Fred is going to get killed because there have been so many people that's died. So I just thought, like, because if it wasn't for me, like, nobody, well, I don't want to say it like that. Like, he would never have been on YouTube if I had never gone down there, because everybody else was acting like scared of him because he shot Roy Fanning or whatever. Nobody would go deep down, past a certain place. Everybody was scared of going down the holler. And I went with a local, and he just happened to be outside one point when I go, and it just was perfect timing. I had my recorder.
See, when I took a law enforcement to the Fields Road property, when we pulled in right there, just right off the road where the gate is, there's a camera up on the right-hand gate post. The gate was open when we pulled in, but I'm sure they probably got that footage too. I've never seen it, but there was a camera on that gate.
Huh.
That could be why they kept going back to that piece of property and searching it.
Over at Fields Road, so.
Yeah.
Well, then Andy had to have been there before, or who put up the cameras?
I'm assuming it was part of the Hensleys.
Oh, okay.
Or the Hensleys used to own it.
Oh, okay.
See, that's where Evelyn that loaned that $1,000 to Jody for that camper and stuff lived.
Yeah.
And then she had sold that piece of property to some loggers.
Yeah.
That's when they done away with the gate when they took
yeah, that's the property, Tanya, that we're talking about right now. That's the same property. That is it.
And see, that's the same place that there was a fire and stuff after someone went missing too. They allowed that they was burning logs back there, but a log pile,
that's weird. What video was that I was watching the other day where they were talking about that?
Jail video of Ashley Daniels was showing that little fire. That was towards.
Who made a video like that recently? Because I was watching something.
Well,
was it Killer Looks?
Was showing that smoke coming up.
I know, but somebody used her video or used her. They were talking about it.
Was to the left of that property.
So that wasn't the same thing?
No, it was two different fires. There's a few days apart.
If you step back and look at the extremes these people go to take the heat off themselves, it's like it is kind of crazy and funny though.
To be able to search that property, you'd have to get Andy's parents' permission. And they could talk. Because that's where it's at,
Yeah.
Where the gate's at. If you go straight through the gate, that's a different piece of property. But where the gate post and stuff is, and the gate's folded back, that's where the driveway used to go into Andy's parents' property on Fields Road. That they had done away with when they cut that new road in to log that.
2 different fires, 3 days apart.
Huh?
2 different fires, 3 days apart, or how?
2 different fires, a few days apart. Yeah.
A few days apart.
Something around there. I don't know exactly how many days.
But right around the same area.
Yeah.
Ready? And he was walking. I go, "Are you Fred Hill?" He said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Just the man I've been looking for."
Oh my God!
Yeah, he was so nice. We talked for 3 hours. I was like, "What?" It broke the internet at the time, but I was like, "What are people talking about? This guy." There, people have been trying to make him out to be something he's not. They're trying to make him be the scapegoat in this case, and
you even got Don trying to saying he tried to set me up.
Yeah, Don, but Don says a lot of shit though. He was drunk.
He set all up,
He went on the lab, Josh's channel, and said, "Hell yeah, I set Fred up. Who wouldn't set? Or I tried to set Fred up. Who wouldn't set that motherfucker up?" He's talking about Fred's arrest. Well, police told Fred. Gary Lawson told Fred. That's what I wanted to tell you. We will not bother you about anything to do with your drug activity
until Summer's case is solved.
That's what they said, but Fred's not mad at him or anything.
I'm
they indicted
that it happened like it did.
They indicted him, and it wasn't until 2023, so it made it just like
June the 13th of 2023 is when they picked me up.
So it was like, is Summer's case? Did they find something out in Summer's case? It was confusing. But there was a guy that wore a wire on Fred for 2 buys, and they got him. But thank God, because that's probably what saved your life. To be honest, and got you out of there. Me and Fred would have never ended up together.
I'm not mad at the guy that done that. I'm grateful that he did.
Because there's so many people that's afraid to talk from around that area, like
because they're all
Marlena Crawford is. I don't know.
But all of them's in the drug game, and they're afraid to speak on anybody because they're afraid their ties is going to get cut.
Yeah, they're going to get cut off, or even worse, cut off or cut. Whatever the two. you know?
Yep.
And thank you, Scott Stewart, for busting me.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yep.
That actually saved my life, probably.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people don't want Hawkins or Upper End Beach Creek didn't want Scott Stewart even in office is because of all their criminal activity. I'm grateful that he's in there.
Yeah. Who knows how it would have turned out if you didn't get, you know what I mean? It'd be crazy. No way.
If Scott had me busted and stuff, I would still take him. If I could have voted for him, I would have.
Yeah. Because it's all about, a person's intentions and their integrity. Fred walked away, or I would ask him about what he thought about that fire. Maybe he'll come back in a second. Somebody wanted to ask about what did Fred think about the fire on Fields Road, the one Dee had in her video. I don't know. Maybe he'll come back here in a few. And I'll ask him. Let's see. There's only 7 minutes left of this video. I'm sure he'll be back in a second.
It's very dangerous because it's very, very, very dangerous in a lot of areas because of
There's a lot of deaths that's came up since Summers went missing and stuff in that area. They've been like 20, over 20
it was
deaths.
Suspicious, the fire and stuff. Me and law enforcement even talked about it. Law enforcement's aware of that fire. They went back there and searched, and supposedly searched. Mm-hmm. And one that was actually supposedly was burning back there, they was letting on like that they just burn a log pile or whatever. So I don't know whether they did it or something.
And then the other one, and then the other one, what was the other one again?
The other one was just somebody burning trash, the one that was in Ashley Daniels' video.
Wait, one was logs and one was trash?
Yeah. Yeah, the one that was in Ashley Daniels' video, it was on Morlock's property.
Wonder if law enforcement or TBI knows her last known footprints, and that would be a crucial area to search. Yes, I truly believe it did say your wife. Yep. So both those fires were kind of suspicious. Fred? He's like weird. You have to catch him like right then because he walks off. It's crazy. It's like one of my pet peeves with him. He walks off immediately.
I figured that one was suspicious. The one that was in between Andy's parents' property and on the Hensley property.
You didn't think the other one was?
Huh?
You didn't think the other one was?
No, they always burn trash there at the back corner of it. Because when I seen the fire and stuff in the back corner in there, Andy and them's mom and dad's property, first thing I was thinking maybe they'd try and get rid of something, because of the prior searches and stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. So one was suspicious and one wasn't, I guess. I still am a little lost, but that's because I was not paying attention very well. Which one's the one that's more suspicious? Was he saying the one behind Ansley Daniels was the most suspicious one?
One that's in Ashley Daniels wasn't suspicious at all
okay.
because that was just a normal thing they done it. every week is burnt trash.
Okay. But this other fire, was it called in too? Was it called into police or anything?
I don't know about the one that was in Ashley Daniels' video.
What about the other one?
Yeah, I talked to law enforcement about it.
Oh.
Because I was the one that said something to them about the fire. You can see the smoke coming up and stuff like that. Just boiling up.
Huh. The horse pond burning was weird too.
Yeah, it was weird. Especially, what was it, the day before Summer's Vigil or whatever?
Yeah.
Or the morning of or something like that.
Yeah.
Morning
it was a weird timing, wasn't it? Let's see, we only have 5 minutes or 7 minutes left.
Yeah, and weird, suspicious deaths. A lot of them, like overdoses, it makes you think like somebody give them a hot shot or they try to, that's a lot of times what they'll do around that area.
Well, they 5 on Ben Hill Road since Summers went missing. That's past, but a lot, like my parents, they was just old age that got them. Mm-hmm. Is my mom, my dad, then John Smith, Andy's uncle.
Yep.
And then Mary Sexton, and then her husband. Her husband passed first, and then she passed.
I thought Mary Sexton was with Sherfy.
I just know there was Mary Sexton. She probably got a different last name.
She wasn't with Sherfy? Like that Sherfy guy, the one that had a son that got in trouble for all this child porn?
No, that was his daughter, or her daughter that he was with.
Oh, she was named Mary too?
I don't know what.
Oh, okay.
See, like Don Sherfy, I always knowed of him living in that first double wide or trailer under, when you turn on Simpson Lane, the first double wide right there. I think it's a double wide or some wide. It's a trailer anyway. That's where I've always known him living. Everybody kept saying, oh, he lived up on top on the other side where Mary lived. I've never known that he lived up there.
Okay. Yeah, so
I was talking about who had passed away just on Ben Hill since Summer went missing.
So there's a lot of people, like locals, like that, who are trying to cover things up or mad at Fred for speaking up. We don't know. It's scary because we don't know exactly what entails. Is there law enforcement involvement covering this up? Is there? I mean, it's scary. We don't know what we're dealing with here exactly,
Right.
and it seems to be pretty bad, whatever it is.
Yeah, I guess.
It doesn't seem to be like an accident cover-up.
We'll see.
Right?
That's really all we can say is, TBI is not going to share anything unless it advantages them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they have to keep everything tight-lipped and look for one little detail that they need.
They have to. I'm sure that they know what happened. Probably at this point, they're just trying to get that evidence that they need. That's why they were asking just about that truck. They didn't care about the other information. Many of the other information is either they knew about it, already knew, or they knew it wasn't relevant, or they So.
You mean the blue truck?
Huh?
You mean the blue truck?
Right. The only thing they cared about was the only thing. We had to mention many things in that email that we emailed TBI, but the only thing they were interested in was that blue truck, like if we knew who drove that blue truck.
And that was sent in December of last year.
Yeah. So, we were mentioning Andy Bernard being on the road.
Yeah, it's true. They did get weird about certain searches, didn't they? I remember that. And that's one of the things that EquiSearch lady had. I'm going to try to get her on here someday. She said she was going to, but I don't know. I understand people change their minds. Plus, like, YouTube can be pretty harsh, but she had some weird experiences, like with law enforcement, witnessed some weird experiences. With the whole searching and stuff and what they would allow and what they wanted and how secretive and weird they were. I mean, of course they're going to be secretive in some ways, but
like you guys, I just let you know, Fred recorded for Hawkins County and saw Andy on the road, and we don't understand. He's all over YouTube saying he wasn't. So we don't get it. Like, we know he's involved. Like, Fred knows.
Allegedly, in our opinion only.
I heavily feel like he's
involved. He knows something.
I don't know 100% he's involved, but I feel like he's involved. Which means knowing 100%, you'd have to be there and witness it.
Yeah, I guess if you know.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those in there.
All right. Well, I guess we could let you go. It's been a couple hours, and we don't want to keep you forever. But you could always contact us, like I said before. And if we could think of anything, I don't know. We just don't know what would help. But you're not working the case, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, not working the case.
So yeah, that is about it, guys. That is the duration of the call, and it was yeah. So it's pretty much like just a repeat of, because of Fred telling his story about his experiences that day and certain weird things surrounding the day Summer went missing and stuff, with the certain vehicles and his own experience is, and that's why I feel like it's important. It's okay if you guys don't think it's important or whatever. But I'm just saying, if people want his perspective, that's it. And otherwise, nothing, like I said, everything's alleged. Not guaranteed fact. But yeah, everybody's real sensitive around these places. They can sure dish it, but they can't take it sometimes. So I thought it'd be an interesting perspective. I know. I hope it reminds us they did just have, a search like 6 months ago. So
here comes some 12-hour lives, I'm sure.
Oh my God! Yeah. Jody Sue is going to be really, really. Yeah, she's going crazy over there. Oh, thank you for. We did get your Cash App. $1 from Annie and $1 from Lori. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. I didn't see them because I didn't have.
I didn't notice it either. I
didn't know my freaking Cash App was still freaking working. Guys, I don't have access to that. I don't know why it even would have gone through. Like, I do see it right there, but wonder if there's a way that she could get her money back. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Twyla, no, that's not the one I talked to. It wasn't Twyla. No, I talked to, I don't know if, I think she's okay with me saying her name, but I don't know if I should. Gosh, as much freaking hate as people get. I think she said it was okay, but I don't want to. She's not with them anymore. But yeah, I know Twyla was mentioned a lot. I'll just say it. Her name was Shannon. I think she's okay with it at this point. It's not like I'm putting out her last name or anything like that. I'm pretty positive she said it was okay at this point. She said she was okay with it. She didn't care anymore. She was going to even come on as a guest at one point, but I think she just, and it's fine. Maybe one of these days. I don't like to pressure anybody, guys. So, everybody have a good evening, and I'll talk to you guys later.